Having wheel and axle problems from roaming off the beaten path? Have brigands, thieves, and marauders damaged your cart? Do you need to upgrade your armor or cargo space? Here at Dunir Caravans, we can fix or replace any of the much-needed parts you need to get your goods from place to place. We can even sell you a new or used wagon at affordable prices. Our tradesmen are artisans in their craft. Come see us at Dunir Caravans before your next trip for a free quote on repairs and upgrades. We're Dunir Caravans in Kazimar.
And good afternoon. How is everybody doing out there? It is I, Beck Altarr, back for another monthly live update. You just heard there one of the commercials that I have produced for Phoenix Radio Online, which is my hopefully going to be approved contribution to the content creators program with Ashes of Creation. I have put in my application, and I will play probably another commercial that I've done for the radio at that point. And I thought just before we dive into the video, just a little introduction about Phoenix Radio, kind of my thoughts, my hopes, my goals, and I would love to hear your feedback, because ultimately I do want it to be a community involved creation where my job is just to help guide the station. But ultimately, I want it to be a reflection of the Ashes of Creation community. I want it to play content that may not otherwise find a home out there. There's video, there's images, but there isn't really an audio only kind of thing. And what I want to do is not only play music that other content creators may have produced, but also find music that is DMCA friendly, that is within the theme of Ashes of Creation. A great concept of that is Windrose. They do Dwarven themed heavy metal based on the J.R.R. Tolkien universe of the dwarves. And that would kind of fit in with this. There's some new age stuff that you could almost say would fit very well with with elves. And, there's the other races, the humans and stuff like that. And there are some people that have actually created their own music. And we also want to do fake themed commercials, but we will also have commercials that will point to other content creators, hopefully, and we will probably rebroadcast some podcasts perhaps to kind of help fill in some of our content. So the idea there may be a podcast might happen, and then a few days later we would replay that broadcast on our station. So basically you give it the 72 hours that YouTube will get most of the hits on. Usually after 72 hours, the views and whatever drop off. And then we would replay that on KTAM, and then Phoenix Radio. KTAM's the previous radio station I ran for Defiance, which no longer exists, sadly. So we would then also have, audio that would direct people go to that podcast on YouTube to catch it live, where they can interact, and that this is a rebroadcast of that podcast on Phoenix Radio. And the whole concept is to make it feel relatively immersive, so that as you're playing the game, you would hear in-game music, hopefully, as well as other music that would fit. And we would also want to create themed blocks where we might have a dwarven host talking about something that's happening with the Dunir. For example, there is that lovely raid dungeon that was an old dwarven stronghold, and if I remember the lore correctly, it was basically dwarves that said, hey, you know what, we're not going to go through the portal, we're going to stay right here, and we're going to hold off the corruption. Ultimately, I think they failed. But the show might be based around the archaeologists that find this raid dungeon and kind of their experiences uncovering some of that history, and kind of from their perspective. Now, ultimately, we want to start the radio dramas off on Sanctus before the portals open. I figure we have a couple of years to start getting some radio dramas out. And the great thing about this is it's all volunteer. I'm basically funding it unless people want to donate to it. And the idea is uh, I want the community to participate, sharing their voices, helping write radio dramas and stories, contributing their own commercials and ideas that go around that. And it's really meant to be a lot of fun. And again, add a little more immersion to the game than we might not otherwise have. We could have maybe a major quest giver, for example. If they're not voicing those characters in the game, then perhaps we will find somebody to voice that character, and maybe that character has a normal everyday life outside of just handing out quests every day. And kind of what is that like? What's the starting area like when you have people coming through the portal? And not everybody coming through the portal, I think, is going to be with permission. I'm sure there's people that are escaping Sanctus for a variety of reasons. Maybe they're poor. Maybe they're in trouble with the law. And so they're going to find ways to circumvent whatever is on Sanctus, preventing people from getting in the portal. And they're going to come through the other side. So how do they deal with that on the other side? Because you just magically appear, and you can't go back, right? It's a one way. So it's not like every time somebody runs through the portal that's not supposed to, that they're going to send a guard or somebody through to warn everybody on the other side, right? So how do they deal with that and the potential con artists? So I just wanted to start off a little briefly talking about that. Again, open to ideas and suggestions and all of those things to really make it fun and interesting and something that is very community orientated. That's something that I'm really big on. I'm really big on positive community interactions, and it might be a little early, but I'm hoping it will get there. So with that, let's head into the video. I have not seen this because I was working yesterday, so I couldn't enjoy it, unfortunately. And but this is the live stream for yesterday, and this is going to be my live reaction to it. And yeah, so they have their countdown, so we'll just kind of skip ahead here a bunch and see about where it starts. Feel free to jump in and comment, be part of the conversation. Do you agree or disagree with anything that I might say? Again, this is just my my take on everything. So here we go. And if you're watching this on YouTube, please like, subscribe,
and
comment.
Welcome to our glorious Ashes of Creation Maid development update. And with me today is a little bit of a mix-up. Of course, we always have with us Stephen Sharif, our creative director. How are you doing today, Stephen?
We got McPhee on today.
Very tired. No,
I'm with you. I'm really tired. You want to talk about who's tired?
yesterday was a long testing day. I got up at 3:30 in the morning and didn't get to bed until 1 a.m. So it was a rough day. But I'm doing great. Very excited. Loved the testing.
Something moving around in Steven's background.
Can't wait to show
There's a reflection.
some of the videos.
One
But yeah,
person
it
was
was
so
awesome.
quick to put up a video of talking about their experience. It was like I was just in shock.
Oh yeah, no,
It's
I love it.
amazing to see how many of you are enjoying it and having fun. And obviously, we know there are issues and stuff like that. It's an alpha.
Oh yeah,
It's
for sure.
I
gotta
was one of
be.
those people. The minute I
And of
heard
course,
we
with
could
us
go
we have
live, I pretty
somebody
much
new,
did.
Which some of you may know if you're a long-term member of our community. But if you are somebody who's new and you haven't ever checked out any of our previous
So
streams,
before
this is
I got
Kevin
into the alpha
Pearson. And
one,
Kevin, if you want to talk about kind of what
I
you do at Intrepid Studios,
have
and
stated that I
just give
think
a little intro of you.
their alpha one
Sure.
is not
I'm
alpha
the
one
lead,
ready.
Gameplay programmer, so my job
And thus
is
far,
to
having played a
sort of
weekend
spec out
and
different
whatnot of
tasks
the
on
alpha
the
one,
way to the
I stand
milestones
by
we wanna
that.
hit.
I don't think
And
it's
then,
alpha one
work with
ready.
production to schedule those out and
I think
get
they
all
could.
the engineers
I
on
think
the
they could
gameplay
use
side working on those tasks
3 to
to get
6
to
more
the target.
months.
Um, I would say my job's pretty.
And that's not
pretty
anything
great
negative
because
on
I've,
the
an
studio.
incredibly good
I
engineering
I think
team,
they really,
backing me up, as
you know,
well as Mark Storch
they've
and
really put out a
the
really
platform
great
services
product right
team,
now.
and
I just think it could
and
use a little more
Ash
time.
Thoth, who's kept all of our builds and everything working.
Absolutely. If you guys
You
ever
know,
saw
the
the Wizard
game
of Oz,
looks
that scene where
absolutely
they actually get
phenomenal.
into the Wizard of Oz room and there's like a curtain there and like the dude who's actually the wizard doing all the magic behind the scenes, that's Kevin and the engineers.
Running all the levers.
Actually making everything work and happen and just performing code magic.
It is seriously magic. I adore all of you, and you.
We
yeah.
adore us too.
Margaret's still got all
I
her
saw in chat
plants are
somebody
still
said the
alive.
unsung heroes. That's
Her
very
little
true. You know,
viney
a lot of
one's growing.
times the artists
I don't
and
know
the
if you can see the mouse
designers,
cursor,
they have
but
the ideas of the
this one right over
systems,
here.
and they
It's a
have
little
the
longer, I
cool
think, since
models,
last
but
month.
really it's the engineers who are the glue that keeps everything actually together and working the way it's intended to.
Yeah.
So big
Go on.
props to go on. Yeah.
He's like, please.
It's fun
and
though.
scene.
We enjoy what we do.
And of course, today we have a whole slew. This is actually going to be a very long live stream. It might end up being a 2-hour one, so I apologize in advance.
It does
Of course,
look
if
like
you're
it's gonna be
watching
2
this on
hours.
YouTube, I always give you timestamps in the description. So if you didn't know that,
I have to
do
go back
that
to
for
work
every
just after
single
4
one,
o'clock.
because I know
I
some people
don't think we're
wanna
gonna
go
make it.
straight to a specific topic, or you want to relive it, or whatever it may be.
Might have to
So yeah,
pause
just
my
letting you
work
know
shift
that.
and
So today we will be doing quick reminders as per usual. We'll do a studio update from Steven. And of course, today our design section is also going to incorporate some engineering goodness. And I have a little bonus love letter from our QA team to all of our Alpha 1 testers. So that will be really adorable. And we have an environment and character update.
Yeah, and in an hour and a half, I have to go back to work.
Coming out of that, and then we'll do our Q&A.
We'll see if we can
with you all.
delay
Thank
my
you for
return.
submitting your questions over on the forums. We super duper appreciate it. So, should I get right into all of the things? And
I'll
for
try
people
not to
asking about my
pause.
PC, it's dead. It got melted.
No,
try not
last
to-
night we were doing some late night testing, and we were literally on the precipice of recording the video we're going to show you here in a moment. And of course, as usual, some stream gremlin works its way into the plans. I mean, the previous stream we had to retake 4 times because I could not get recording happening
It
on my
kept
computer.
being a black screen.
In 4 times we had to retake the video we showed you guys with the, was that the dragon? Was that the last
Yeah,
time?
that was the
We
last
did that?
one.
Oh my
the dragon one.
gosh. Wow, it feels like that was years ago.
I
No,
know. It's been a long month.
How's everybody doing out there?
Margaret just like,
So we got a
"Oh,
number of
here, his user
viewers.
has disconnected from your channel. I'm like, huh, wonder what
I
happened
think
to
I
Margaret.
said. I think I said.
Hello, Miss
before,
Pug.
I was like, I think my PC's dying.
Stay a while. and
Yes, that's true. And
listen.
then I was like, really? You think so? And then you didn't respond. And I just heard the user disconnected. And then I saw Slack where you're just like, yeah, my computer's dead.
Yeah, my 3090 overheated my PC. It was a cooling issue, so.
How do
yeah,
they
we're
get
gonna
their
fix it.
hands on
But
all these
Our lovely IT guy.
video cards?
He's amazing. He brought me a PC at 11 p.m.
Drove out at
all
11
night-
p.m.
I've just been setting up this, all my PC and the stream, but it's good.
And then you, like a champ, had to work through the entire night just to reset up all the streaming stuff. That's crazy. I couldn't even imagine. After the whole day of testing and working, that's
Well, I
Yeah,
should
I
save to
started
the
at 6
cloud.
a.m.,
It shouldn't be
so-
that bad.
We're gonna have to
Been a
make
long
sure
day.
Monday when we do some gaming for the holiday that we get you a nice little drink and some good food.
Yeah. McP should give me some magic items for my Pathfinder character.
Well,
Oh.
Just kidding. Can I barter? Is that allowed live on?
McPee's campaign doesn't actually have magic items. It hasn't been yet introduced into
it just has pain and suffering.
Oh, that's true. All right. Well, let's get into it. You all don't want to hear about our Pathfinder campaign. So, first and foremost,
tweet,
oh,
Pug.
you know what I forgot to set up? I actually forgot to set
follow
up
me
the
on Twitter,
scene,
Beck
the
Altarr.
reminder scene. So I'm just going to read them off to you.
Pug
I'm
helps me
sorry
with my
about this.
tweets.
Well, first and foremost, we do have
I
the
tweet
web
all the
update. If
political
you didn't
stuff,
notice,
and
we took down the
he
web.
does most
We
of the game
actually thought
stuff.
We were going to take 7 hours. We only took 3. So can all things happen like that? That'd be great. But if you didn't know, we did provide Stripe as a default purchase option. I know that that was something that everyone was very concerned about. If you do still want to use Zola, it is still available to you there as well. But if we do see that not a lot of people are utilizing it,
And I
we
do
may,
like McPhee.
you know,
He's
adjust
he's
things
a lot of
around.
fun.
So we're always
And then
watching the data as it comes in.
Absolutely, and just to jump on that fact,
welcome,
this was a big
Jibble.
request from the community.
Jibble says, I won't
and
need to wait
obviously,
to the
our
end for the
motto here
impressive
is
part.
to take in the feedback that's
Well,
necessary.
if I want to see
let
something
that
impressive,
effectuate change.
I'll just
So we're happy that we're able to provide this
look
because of
down.
the outpouring requests from the community.
Yeah, and we know people have been asking for it. So next, we do
Ladies.
have our monthly cosmetic swap over for the Brine and Bounties. And
Have
that is
to-
scheduled
have
for
to give
June
peels.
9th, 2021 at 11 a.m. Pacific. We always put that in our article. We let you know whenever the
Like you
swap
never
over is
wrap your brain
happening.
around politics?
So keep
Oh.
an eye on those things as we announce
I
them.
love it. I
We
am
always know
very
a month in
politically
advance,
astute,
and
having
then they
ran
can
in
swap
politics
over.
myself.
Within this one, we
So
also have our FAQ in regards to Alpha
But,
1
yeah.
pre-order packages and how that works.
it's
So
not
please,
easy.
please
It's
read
it
that.
is a
I
convoluted
know
mess.
that some people have asked a lot of those questions, and we usually keep it updated. And if any new ones come in, we make sure that we let folks know. And then, of course, we have, if you have any
Yes,
further questions,
yes.
you can message us
I
on
do a
our
great
support
Santa.
Twitter, which is just, AOC support, and we'll answer all of your questions. And with
It's like Buddha, you
every
can rub
month
it
we
for good
always have
luck.
a new dev update and dev discussion. So last month we asked you, or this last month we asked you, what are some examples of crafting systems and
Taking 'em
mechanics
forever to
you've
get
enjoyed
into the
from
content.
other games, and why? What percentage of your time do you typically find yourself engaged in crafting activities in an MMO? And we'll be
Oh, I love
compiling that
crafting. I
feedback
mean,
for
look at how
our
much
lovely
time I spend
development
doing
team.
crafting
We
stuff
always send
in
them over
Valheim.
all of the goodies, and Toast does an amazing job. Mad love to Toast. And we'll have
Yeah.
a new June 1 coming up in regards to environments. So if you have
Just want to
thoughts.
jump on your piggyback there
Yeah.
here with Toast. What a champ! I mean,
Oh.
Toast throughout the testing, unbelievable. Both you and Toast, but just a absolutely amazing job.
Everybody's
keeping
doing
the
their
community
jobs.
informed and relaying messages and information to us 100%.
Yeah, I
When she puts her
don't-
glasses on, she kind of gets
don't
that
know what I would do
golem
without
eye
Toast,
look.
so.
Her eyes just get bigger.
You'd be
I,
toast.
I love Toast. I
You
was
beat
actually
Toast. Oh, I love it.
Oh, but I was saying that it would be funny if we grab all of the because obviously we're looking for a junior.
I wonder when
manager, if you're
when
interested,
Toast falls
apply.
down,
But I was
which
like, what
side
if
does
we
she
had
land
all
on?
Of our CMs be some form of bread. Like, what if we convince them all?
Or breakfast food.
Oh, breakfast food. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, but anyways,
Get a jam and an egg.
if you find a good community manager, y'all, never let them go. Keep them forever. And of course, further discussing more things that the lovely Toast does, we have our guild gatherings, which last month or this month we asked you. What
Yeah, I've
kinds of
actually been
activities do
thinking
you like to
about
participate in
doing
with your games
videos where I
outside of the
react
game,
to
which,
forum
we are
topics. I don't
working on
know.
some really
What do you guys
cool
think about
web
that? I'd have to
integrating stuff,
obviously
and,
go through them,
we have an
kind of
app
pick
that we're
out
gonna be working on in the future as
different
well.
posts
So
to
these are all great
actually
things for us to know
cover.
in order to develop those type
But
of things. And
what
of
do you think
course,
about
just
doing those
figuring out
kinds of
how maybe we
videos
can
rather than
incorporate some
just
of those outside of the game things into
doing
the game,
the
right?
monthly
And
live
then, of course,
reaction
next month is
and then
going to be
streaming
talking about your fondest
screenshots while
memories.
I'm
And
doing
really give us your best
alpha
ones,
testing
y'all. And if you have more than one, feel
until
free
the
to
full
share
NDA
them.
lifts.
I think from our perspective, we want to bring back that nostalgia, and so hopefully we're all on the same page in regards to what those memories are. But yeah, beyond that, we also have a reminder that our Alpha 1 preview spot test is coming up. Our next one, we are basically doing them every Wednesday if we can. Those adjust depending. So if you do have Alpha 1 access, you will get access to that. Currently, the next one is scheduled for June 2nd at noon to 5 p.m., but we'll let you know if that changes. And of
Yeah,
course,
always the
our
middle of the
next,
week when people are working.
NDA'd one will, be further down the line, and we'll keep you guys informed of all of that stuff. And there
That's
is an
usually when I work
article
is in
about
the
this as well,
afternoons.
if you want to go check it out on our news channel over
Right now,
in
anyways.
the update on Alpha 1 schedule.
Until I buy a
And
lottery
reminder
ticket
that
and
the
win my
NDA
millions.
for the visual aspect of it is still in play, so no video, no streaming, no nothing like that, but you can talk all you want about your experience. And believe me, y'all have been talking. We've been watching so many videos. And speaking of videos, it's a great segue to our long-awaited content creator program. As I announced last month, we were going to be announcing it. It is announced. It's live. You can apply. Here's the caveat right now. There's so many of you that have applied, and that is amazing. That's so amazing that we need a person to just run that. So currently we are looking for an influencer relations specialist that will be helping us run this program, and we actually are going to be opening up a secondary program that is going to be subsidiary of this program. It's not going to be something you apply for. Yeah, it's going to be basically a boot camp // training. We haven't come up with the final name of it. I'm designing it at the moment, but we don't want to say no to a lot of you. We see that some of you are passionate. You want to create content. We want you to create Ashes of Creation content, but maybe you need a little help with like your stream or how it runs, or maybe you're not quite ready to be tagged as like official content creator in our perspective. But we want to help you get there. And so
I literally messaged Margaret, and I was like, Margaret, I'm like getting a lot of anxiety, and I feel terrible about messaging thousands of people rejection letters.
Oh. And I was like, "Are you going to give me a person?" And he was like, "Yes." And I was like, "All right, then we're done."
I will give you a person.
Because I just can't do everything. So I think.
Well, I think with the online radio being such a unique thing,
please send them our way.
nobody else is doing it.
And of course, we're going to pick.
So the online radio, I think, should be
so it's going to take
a great possibility. Because
I
have another online radio I've been working on, but it's just not getting any traction at all. So I'm thinking I might just drop it and then just go back.
That there's so many people who want to make Ashes of Creation content.
Start putting up a test stream for the Phoenix radio.
Further beyond that, I think that's all I got for updates. Whew, it was a lot. And I'm sorry I didn't have anything visual for you to look at other than our faces. I normally do. That's the one thing I forgot. I was trying to get everything set up before. So I'm going to toss it over to our wonderful and glorious creative director, Stephen Sharif, to talk a little bit more about our studio.
Would you guys listen to an online radio? Yes. What content would you like to hear?
As usual, we are
on an online radio that is themed towards gaming, gamers, more specifically Ashes of Creation.
We actually just hired 3 additional producers as well, which is great. An engineer started last week. We have a lot of we have a recruiter and HR starting next week. We're getting ready to move into the office. We are actually in the building. The server rooms are getting set up by, I think, Tuesday or Wednesday of next week. All of the electrical is getting put in, the cabling within the next week and a half. And then hopefully around the middle of June, we will be back in studio. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I just said that.
Hooray!
I'm looking forward to it.
It's definitely,
I can't wait to actually
that'll really boost
face that I'm talking to on the regular, and
that'll really boost production
and have our potlucks.
That'll really help them a lot.
Yeah, we should just start.
Yeah, well, and it's going to be music that's not exclusively medieval themed or anything like that. You know, I want to try and add parodies for, you know, that may relate to other games. You know, like I have a lot of Minecraft parodies and stuff like that.
It's like a
so that it's gamer relative,
really
or gamer related.
Mac and cheese, I remember.
I know.
Oh
but anything that has like a host, I want that to be Ashes of Creation themed. So if somebody's, you know, being the DJ, I want them in some way to be a denizen of the world, you know, in character, basically.
So a lot of fun plans for that, and you know, the funny thing
obviously we'll have talk shows and podcasts that are out of character.
I don't even know these people.
Those will probably run more in the evenings on weekdays.
Parties at the house where we played some like Super Mario Smash Bros.
Where I think
over some switches,
music will play mostly throughout the day, and obviously throughout the night.
Still a lot I haven't met yet, and I know we've had a lot of people.
If you're on the Discord, scroll down near the bottom. You'll see a Phoenix Radio. There's a text channel down there, and you can talk more and see stuff in there on our Discord.
Get to know them.
Yeah.
So that's exciting.
We have done some group virtual get-togethers on Zoom and stuff, but it's, you know, it's not the same as seeing people in real life. And Stephen's not drinking wine. He's just fancy AF and drinks out of a wine glass.
I could use the bottle, but then you might yell at me. I may have to like tear the label off or something. I don't know.
Oh yeah, I'm
Product
always like,
placement.
no other brands.
I don't know. Where do you think I got this
I
from?
think
I don't care.
controllers more so. And anything else? So that's the studio side,
That's
the
the studio
hiring
update, yep.
side.
I just wish they had orange
Anything else on that?
Oh,
Slurpees.
sorry. And
Yeah.
testing has been going great. As you guys know, this month we had our weekend-long test with many of our Alpha 1 testers.
Which is pretty good.
I decided that in light of us pushing the dates back as we did for the Alpha 1 testing and the NDA release, that I would release the verbal NDA so that people get to talk about their experiences. Hopefully,
Which
you
has
guys
been
have had
very
an
nice.
opportunity to jump onto our Reddit or on the forums and watch many of the content that's been created, or chat with people who are participating in the test on Discord.
I mean, the game definitely looks very promising. Very
Alpha
promising.
1, the preview to Alpha 1, it is.
I just
as
wouldn't
said
call
many
it an
times, a
alpha.
very
You only have
technically
3
oriented test,
classes
where we have the core
out of
systems kind of,
64
stood up
total
in a bare bones fashion,
combinations.
and we're vetting
You know,
these
should
things,
have
and,
at least
it's not a content related test.
8.
It's not a
You know, that's their
typical
core. They should have
marketing-oriented
at least
alpha.
your
This is
core
a true
class, 8
developmental
classes.
alpha, and it's been a real fun time watching people get into the
No,
game
and there's
that
just
we've been
lots
building
of
for a
really,
long time. And seeing,
like
even in
that's
its state
lots of
now, which
little
is
glitches and
nowhere
stuff that
near what it will be at launch, to
shouldn't
see
exist
the
in an
people's
alpha
reactions
because
on,
they're pre-alpha
on the
glitches and
videos that they're
bugs.
creating,
They
talking
should
about
not
how
be
much
in an
fun
alpha.
they've had to read their responses on our thread and
But
feedback,
graphically, the
just,
game is
kind of getting back
nice.
to that nostalgia that
I
so
was
many of
not
us have
disappointed, even with
experienced,
my
in
old
wanting to relive
video card
that
that
first
does
MMO
not
experience.
render
It's
as beautifully
impossible really to get that back, but it's fun
the
to come
game
close.
actually
And
could
it's fun
have.
to see people
It's
experiencing
still a
some
very
of those
nice looking
emotions
game.
that they experienced with their first love, so to speak. We have a long way to go, and real big hats off to everyone who is taking the time to test, and being very methodical in their approach to that testing.
McPhee
submitting
looks
bug
so
reports. We had
serious. Look at that.
thousands
Look at
of
him.
bug reports.
Yeah.
He looks like he's ready to kick
But,
somebody's ass.
I think we had like over 2,000.
Part of that's
that
camera
QA
angle.
wrote it
team
in their
had to
little
run through.
letter. Yeah.
Oh yes, I'm sorry. I don't want to preempt that. Yeah. There's a letter from QA from Sean. But yeah, testing's been going great. Big.
Yeah,
props to the
skits,
testers,
radio dramas.
and hopefully you guys will.
I
enjoy
want
the
to do
video
like
we're gonna show you just
open
here in a
mic
little bit.
nights where people can submit
We
poems,
got so
short
much
stories.
information, too, from profiles, and it's just not possible without all of your support and your testing. It's
Yeah,
massively
absolutely.
important.
Yes, 100%. I mean, as Kevin can tell you, obviously we have simulated players, we have headless clients that we put into the game and bots and whatnot, but there's only so much that you can script those bots to kind of do and try and mirror real players as close as possible, but it really just never gets to the real
Yeah,
thing.
when you have people
And,
running around with
and-
like
yeah,
chickens
sorry,
with
go
no
ahead.
Nobody
heads.
is as crazy as real players.
Yeah, jumping off of mountains,
That is very true.
seeing what fall
But yeah,
damage
that's
is
the studio
like,
update.
running up mountains where you shouldn't be able to run up mountains.
And of course, we have a very long
Trying to
video
pixel
for you,
jumps.
also about 30 minutes. So we will be playing that next. But I think you wanted to mention one more thing, Stephen.
Yes. Yes, I do want to mention one more thing. Those of you who didn't have an opportunity to see our announcement yesterday, we did have to give a bittersweet farewell to Jeffrey Bard, our lead game designer. Jeffrey has been on the project for over 5 years now.
Oh, I
remember
missed something.
I remember when I first
Oh, that's sad to
interviewed
hear.
Jeff. I think I was interviewing him for a game writer position. Actually, it wasn't for a lead game. I was interviewing for a game writer because he came in and that's the position I had open. Interviewed him. We started working together, and he really lived up to his name as a bard. He was kind of a jack of all trades, so to speak, and he was able to kind of.
I'll have
hit
to find
spots
that
that
letter
needed
and
to
give
be
it a
hit when
read.
we were a really
That's
small
sad.
team.
I like Jeff.
And over the years,
You can always tell when he got excited, his
designer,
shoulders
he grew into
wiggled.
that role as a lead designer, and really appreciative of the time that he spent on the project. Jeff went to pursue, one of his passions, which is virtual reality, and he's got a great gig over at another company that's doing some fun things, I think, in the space. So, everybody here wishes Jeff the best, and we're very appreciative for the awesome.
It's
talents that he
unfortunate.
provided the team and the company and the project over the last 5 years. And just from a friend level, I shared a lot of passion for MMOs and for storytelling with Jeff. In fact,
Unfortunately, that does happen, though.
Particular event stands out to me. Early on in the company's inception, we used to have a lot of Pathfinder sessions, tabletop role-playing game. We used to game together at my place, every weekend. And There was this. I'm going to tell the story. Jeff might hate me for it, but I don't know. There was this one time where John
I
and
think
I
I know what it is.
had a great idea, and Kevin was there too. I think actually, we had a great idea to. Okay, here I'll just explain it like this. So, I had on my phone this like nuclear attack
Oh, yeah.
video, right? And it was basically like this thing on the Travel Channel. It was like talking about like food in Russia or whatever. And I streamed it into my theater, and I had it like playing for minutes prior to anybody arriving, so it was like some lead up time, and we were all sitting down and gaming. And this story is going to speak a little bit true to Jeff's gaming spirit, his the gamer inside of him. But so the thing was playing in the theater in the background, and like after about 10 minutes, and we're all like getting situated and getting ready to start our RPG, and we were going to start playing and whatnot, and this emergency warning thing comes on the screen, right? And it's doing that emergency, and it's like, this is a message from your civil defense, and like a nuclear missile launch has been detected, and it's starting to go crazy. And everyone's face, Jeff's included, was just like, oh my god, what's happening? And I was like, guys, it's all right, we need to get into the bunker. I said I said like we had a bunker, but in actuality it was like my generator room. And I was like, Jeff, we need to get to the bunker. He's like, no, I need to call my wife. And I was like, Jeff, there's no time, we have to run to the bunker now. And he's like, all right, well, let me get my dice. So he went to the table and he got his D20 and his dice, and he's like, all right. So we walk into the room, and I'm just like, boop, boop, boop. The door will open in a second to the bunker, don't worry. And he's just standing there with his laptop and his character in his hand and his dice, and he's like ready to walk into the bunker. I'm just like, Jeff, your first thought was the dice? Come on, man.
That's funny.
Yeah, that was just the true
That's awesome.
gamer inside of him. Of course, Kevin was as calm as possible. You see Kevin right here. He's just like,
Everybody's
"Yeah,
got
we'll be back
priorities.
2 hours before it hits us. We got some time. Don't worry about it."
I wanted to get some food. I had a hangover like nobody's
my
business from the previous night.
It was great times. I
That's-
actually recorded that. I put it on a video too. I should
Oh
release
my
that someday.
god.
But yeah, no, it was pretty funny.
The
but,
funny
you know-
thing was my wife was in LA that weekend, so I'm like, hey, you need to like get underground or something.
Yeah, that's right. You called her. You were like, babe, I can't explain. Get underground. You have about 2 hours.
And the obviously in California we don't dig holes in the desert, so there is no
Yes.
underground. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
bon chance.
might be a
But,
subway.
Regardless, like I said, we're very appreciative of Jeff's work on the project.
Yeah, no, I
he
get it.
did a
That's
great
sad to
job
see
in,
Jeff go,
spearheading,
but
many
all
of
the
my
best in
design
his future
philosophies.
career.
We shared a lot of that together. Obviously I have a very specific vision
You know,
for
unfortunately,
Ashes,
that does happen in
Jeff
development.
did
People
an
come and go.
exemplary job championing that vision, and we wish him all the best in the future, and hope he. We can't wait to.
Because I have a
see his
feeling it
reveal
definitely
on
wasn't
I
over
think it's a
money.
big
Because
IP he's
I
working
kind
on.
of get the feeling that Steven
And,
does pay
excited
rather
to see
well.
what he does. So best of
Yeah.
luck to you, Jeff. The community wishes
You know,
you
to
well,
to
and
his
we're
higher
really
ups for
excited
sure.
to
I
wish
don't
you
know
well as
about
well.
anybody else, but
I wish him the best of luck, and of course,
you
I'll
know,
see him
it
around.
definitely
We'll
sounds
do
like
lunches and
there's
stuff.
there's
Can I
definitely
give
a
you
good
one more
commit.
story about Jeff? I'm so sorry.
commitment.
Can I give you just one more story?
Okay.
Okay.
Waiting for
So,
Jeff to just pop up on
this
This is
stream
gonna be
now.
a really long stream, y'all.
This I know. Hold on. This is a hilarious one too. Okay, we were at the studio, and I think we were probably about 40, 50 people. This was like I think it was like 3 or 4 years ago. And one of my good friends
Oh,
is a
this
police
one.
officer here in San Diego, and his name's Sergeant William Tracy. And I was
Doxed.
telling him, I'm like,
Doxed.
hey, we're getting these like these just crazy people on Reddit are talking about how like, oh, this project's a scam and stuff, and it's like a pyramid scheme or whatever, right? So I was like, I would love it if you could come into the studio and fake arrest me in front of my team. And he was like, okay. I can totally do that. So I'm sitting there in the studio, and I'm like writing on the whiteboard in the conference room. And this police officer walks into the middle of the studio, and he's like says out to the studio, he's like, I need to see Stephen Sharif immediately. And one of the people is like pointing over to the conference room, and I walk out, and I'm like, I'm Stephen Sharif, how can I help you? And he's like, you're under arrest. And he pulls out his like handcuffs, and he starts like cuffing me in front of the team, and he tells the team, he's like, I need all of you to step away from your desks immediately. And I'm looking over at Jeff, and his face just turns like ghost white. just like complete ghost. He's like, oh no, oh my god. And he's like standing there. He gets up, and everybody's like walking around and like standing there, and the guy's like, we've heard some reports about this company, and we're here to arrest this guy. And now listen, John had the best idea, and thinking back, I should have done this, but I decided not to. What I wanted to do was take like a bag of baking powder and tape it under Jeff's chair and have the officer say like there's a drug thing going on throughout this company. And I was just going to be like, yeah,
Oh, wow.
Jeff made me do it. It's under his chair. Grab it from Jeff. And I decided not to do it, but we
Oh
just
my
had a
god,
lot of.
that's awful.
Yeah, that'd be mean. That'd be
Oh,
terrible.
I'm so sorry.
By the way, when I started,
Wow.
we put in the handbook, no joking, no more pranks.
I
That
know.
was a
Did we
great
put
prank.
that?
Yeah,
That
it's
was
in
a
the
good prank.
handbook.
Also, at one point, he said, I'm sorry, but your car's been impounded.
Oh, that's right. I remember that. It was good times. But
was so
anyways,
good.
we had a lot of great memories with Jeff, and like I said, we all wish him well and look forward to everything and all the successes he does.
Yeah, I got to work with Jeff twice because I also worked with him at a previous company. So it's been a blessing, and he's a really technical guy, and he'll get him, man.
Yeah.
You know, he
I
always
haven't
seemed
worked with
fun.
him.
You know,
This
Jeff
is
seemed like a
my
really nice
second time
guy.
working with him too, so I'm
So it's sad to see him go, but all the best
with
to
that, I think,
Mr. Bard.
Before Steven says
Hopefully
another
we'll
story,
still see Jeff in game.
It's my heart.
So hopefully Jeff will.
I'm gonna switch over, and we're gonna play quite a long
We'll
video.
sign
Do
up
you want
and
to do a little preface?
we'll
on
be
this
able to
video?
play
Of
with,
course, a
with him
reminder
on the-
that, everything
on
here
the
that
servers.
you're seeing is an Alpha 1 preview. Still many bugs, many issues. There will be fixes, so just emphasizing that part.
Absolutely. So just to jump on that real quick, there is one particular bug you're going to notice in this video, and it is a UI bug that constantly shows a headline of like a control point being taken. So apologies for that. It is alpha. There's still a lot of bug fixing and polishing and just massaging.
Yeah, there's a few bugs that are
continue working well.
pre-alpha bugs that
thing I wanted to show you guys,
shouldn't
and this is
exist
obviously,
in an alpha.
our
So,
whole approach to development is transparent.
like I said, I think they've had to move into the alpha one to satisfy
in a month,
European
this particular system,
Union
the Sieges, is
consumer
going to be in
law,
a
I
much
think.
better state, but at least you get to see a preview of it now.
But
and it's pretty fun, right? On the networking
that
side,
doesn't take
I think we had
doesn't
almost
take anything
300
away from what they're doing or what they're
participants, in the
accomplishing.
Siege for the first
Development
test,
is a
which was kind
process.
of crazy.
It's often a
And
very
then-
slow
and then I wanted
process,
to capture footage, so I did a second test with only
especially
like
with
120,
how
130
ambitious
people.
they are trying to be
But,
with this MMO.
we had a lot of fun, as you guys know. The Sieges
And
are
how
going
they're
to
going
be a
about
daily
doing it
event for
with
the
the
Alpha
Unreal
1 when it
Engine
launches.
and
It's a great way
all
for
of
us
the
to collect,
technical
density
engines
data,
that they are
right? It's a
adding
great
or
way for
attaching
us
to it.
kind of push the limitations
Their
of what our
modifications.
networking layer is capable of providing from a performance standpoint, and it's also a fun activity, and it's representative of the core systems and kind of what we're trying to achieve with Ashes of Creation, and it's guild centric, community centric. It's a risk versus reward that people can opt into, and we had a lot of fun, I think, last night, the people who participated, and we're looking forward to doing more testing with this particular system.
Yeah, in the first round, I was there for that, but I wasn't there for the recording part because my computer blew up. But people were super serious. Like, they were, like, trying to coordinate and stuff. It was great. They're like, they're coming to the north gate. Get them!
Yes.
It was great.
So
Hold
you guys
on
will
the
enjoy it.
west gate. It was great.
It was a lot of fun.
All right. Well, we're going to play this video, and we'll see you all.
You guys are off the
in
quiet
about
and
30
chat.
minutes.
And if you are watching this on YouTube, please like,
Glorious
subscribe,
Ashes
follow.
of Creation community.
Leave a comment for sure.
Welcome.
I
yet
I
another
appreciate all
stream.
comments. I try to reply to them all,
Another
or at least give a
video
thumbs up.
Inside the Alpha 1 preview testing of Ashes of Creation. I'm excited that you were able to join us today. We have a fun-filled, action-packed recording for you. It is currently 10:38 p.m. Thursday, Pacific Standard Time. And I am joined by only the bravest of soldiers that Vera has to offer. For I stand within the keep
Oh, why is that text
of
there?
the most noble castle of the Dunzenkel dwarves.
Sorry about that.
And
That
ahead
text
of
should
me
be way down
Lies a fight
here. There we go.
that would tear out the heart of the bravest
I just
men
created a new
and
scene for all of this today.
But as you can see here, I am joined by the most glorious of defenders to have ever walked. the
Well,
face of Vera.
those
Show me your teeth,
wolves or
defenders.
foxes, fire
Jump,
foxes.
Rise! To this day we fight in defense of our homes. All right, sorry. Just wanted to repeat a little bit. Guys, we're excited to show you some of the siege testing. Now, obviously, this is going to be a little bit maybe buggy. We'll see. We just did a little test with over 200 participants in the siege. And I'm going to be taking you through some of the event. I'm joined by my compatriots at Intrepid, the glorious Dread, aka Trad Thompson, one of our senior designers on Ashes of Creation. How you doing, buddy?
Hello, hello. Good to see everybody again.
And we also have with us the amazing, the tiniest, but not in this case, the tiniest of toasts.
I'm still a pretty tiny toast, even though it's not my name, and I am very ready to let loose the foxes of war.
Yes, let's slip the foxes of war. And with us as well, a recurring guest now, the great and powerful Mr. Chris Justo. How you doing, buddy?
Good, good. Happy to be here.
Happy to have you. So, I heard from a little bird that there might be some people who are attempting to take our castle from us. But just to give you guys an idea of what we're going to do here, and I guess I should mount up. Perfect. Just to give you guys an idea of what we want to do here, this siege zone has a couple, actually it has 3 dragons. You saw one of them in the last stream. We're going to take you over, and I think what we're going to start
Dragons
with is
looks
trying to take down
very
that
nice.
frost dragon, because he's been over
Dragons
there
look
causing
very
some
nice.
storms and some snow, and killing dragons in the siege actually gives you buffs. So before we actually get into a fight with the incoming attackers, who we believe will be here shortly, we're going to try to get ourselves a buff by defeating that frost dragon. What do you guys say we run out of these halls and we go and take that beast down?
I say we're definitely ready to break.
Oh, yes, we are ready. Let's do it. Let's go. Where do we go? I've only been lord of this castle for about a minute.
Follow me.
We follow your lead.
Yes. Oh, there's like a little exit down here. All right.
Everybody
Oh,
can't fit
is
through
this
the
my
door.
throne room? This is my
Little
throne room.
little buggy there.
Made especially for you.
Let me just look at the throne.
Oh, that's very nice.
Is there like a little crown on there for me?
Oh,
Yes,
there
there
is.
totally
Wow,
is. Oh, I
that's
love it.
nice detail.
All right, now how do we get out of here?
Talk to the portal man, and he will take you, or the sergeant of the vanguard, and he will take you out the door.
Ah, brave soldier, do you wish to step outside and harry the flanks of our foes? Indeed. Please allow me to pass. I like that. I'm so polite. This is a war. Do these people
Yeah,
know
like
this
the
is a war? Wow, look at
visuals
that.
in
They
the
have some
game
pretty awesome.
are very
They're
nice.
Very nice to attackers that try and talk to them.
Oh, that's good. We have some ballistas up here. Loving it. Let me jump on my mount. I'm gonna just
Yeah.
Is the plural of ballistas ballista or ballistae?
ballistae.
Ballistae, is that how it's pronounced?
Oh, it's a good thing that the gates are up intact. Yeah, I think it is. All right, let's head out.
Yeah,
Out
it
the
is.
front
Yeah,
gates. We fear
collision is
no
definitely-
man.
Yeah, especially because you can run into something and it doesn't.
Yes.
Inertia doesn't necessarily always
Welcome
move people out of the way.
To the world of Vera.
Or like we've
Let us go
like
to
I
the
think you
frost dragon.
found out, I believe, when we were
There's
playing,
plenty of people waiting.
somebody in a horse
We
can
must
run
move
up
with
to
haste,
you
because I know the
and then
attackers are
they
preparing
dead stop.
their assault.
And you just stand there. In real life, I'm pretty
love
sure
this
a
thing.
horse is just gonna roll you right over. I don't even think a horse is gonna slow down.
So, who worked on this dragon, by the way?
So yeah, there's a little bit of collision they got to
Right, I
work
heard that
on
this guy
in the
has
game.
Actually, quite a punchy pack.
Yeah, so he's got a couple different mechanics. The biggest one is going to be like this thing that you kind of have to dance around. I don't want to really spoil anything, but be ready to stay on your toes.
All right, who's our tank?
When you're on ice,
guess.
you might spend a little bit of time on your butt
All
too.
right.
Oh yeah, there's everybody.
Go for it.
So that's
You wanna
what
get
you
some
were doing
hate
a
up?
lot, Jibble, when we were
just
playing.
go
You're doing a
for
lot
it.
of just
Let's
floating.
not channel. Don't channel. Stay away from those things. They're dangerous. Bring it down.
See, with all that fire, you think you'd have, like, melting.
Now, what do we need to look out for with this guy?
So he's got a couple different moves. His frost breath is really, really dangerous. And then you'll know it when
I was trying to find these guys last time we were playing.
like he's doing right now, and you don't want to get hit by them.
I don't know exactly where they are on the map,
What's he doing?
but I didn't get to explore the whole
right
map
here.
either. Probably explored what, half of it maybe? Those dragons do look good. Like, they're really good character design. Ooh, that was a
Sounds
good.
Like a big angry AoE.
That was a good AoE. That did a good chunk of damage.
Get out
Got
of
a
the
critical
way.
on him. Careful, defenders. Don't be channeling. Oh, we're bringing him down a little bit.
Hey, he's got a lot of health. He's got,
So
what,
he suits up
200,
these kind of ice crystals, huh?
200 some thousand
Yeah,
health.
so if you don't wanna get
There's,
hit by them, they'll lock you in place. And it combos.
yeah, it looks like
really
200,000 life.
dangerous with frost passive.
2013 319. That's 2 million life. That's 300. That's 3,000, 10,000, 100,000. So yeah, this has got it's over 2 million life.
Are you seeing them?
I
My
think they're
bad.
gonna be later stage.
Oh, okay. Got it.
I'm definitely doing the dance though.
What do you mean you wish that the people that got to test this were more random? Oh, you mean because there's so many Intrepid devs?
Activate my action mode.
I'm not seeing all the purple. They must not be doing a lot of auto attacking. So I don't see the purple swipes everywhere. Though I heard in the last, in yesterday's or day before's playtest that they toned that down a little bit.
Oh, if we can bring him down. Oh no, he's flying.
Oh,
He's taken to the skies.
oh, look at that!
Oh no, I see the ice crystals.
Hey, it froze a bunch of people.
I died. I need a res.
Oh no, somebody res him.
Hello, Truth
I'm
Eternal.
getting you up.
Gotcha.
TY.
Well, there's some corpses on the battlefield there.
Oh shit.
Ooh, oh wow, look at that.
Oh no.
Oh, that's kind of cool. You kind of get wind waves
lost
that.
half of
Time.
I think we just lost half of our raid.
Yeah, we need reses.
Kind of moves in different directions.
Working
Well,
Oh, somebody became a mayor. Clumsy was elected
on him. I'm
mayor.
down.
with 2 votes.
I don't know if I trust a man named Clumsy to be mayor.
I got you, Steven.
I trust him more than somebody named Nenchi or Trudeau.
I'm out of mana.
I'm still pretty
Oh,
good.
so you don't have to
so
spam
let me
Q?
know if you need heals or reses.
How long have I been following
Yeah, I'm almost
Ashes?
at half hour.
I have been following Ashes since June,
Oh, God.
so it'd be almost a year.
Did you just do his
You're
little
big.
breath weapon?
You're
So
big.
11
Can't
11
fight
months
that.
roughly.
I don't know. I got pretty good here.
Shoot.
I don't know, yeah, because I had to spam it. It wasn't like you hit Q and your guy would keep swinging away. I had to keep hitting Q every attack, so I'm glad they fixed that. I know in the last day of the weekend on testing, I could actually click the Q on the taskbar. It actually showed up as an object on the taskbar. It wasn't grayed out, so that was nice.
Oh, I keep avoiding those. I'm avoiding those like a boss.
I think he's just getting lucky.
Yeah, we can do this
Ooh.
easily.
Yeah,
We
that's
just
a
need
good
to
AoE.
Obey the mechanics.
Steven's out of mana though.
I'm
He
out
needs
of
to-
I'm out of mana.
He needs to be close to a mage or something like that, or a priest.
Oh, don't stand in the middle of that, Dread. No, you don't want to stand in the middle of that.
I
No.
can't move.
No.
And down he goes. Oh, okay, so those ice things aren't players being frozen; they're
Whoa,
just.
Are these attackers? I
blocks.
see attackers here. Oh no. Okay,
Does this video leave a good? Well, this is the first time I've seen it because I had to work when they did the live stream, so I haven't had a chance to watch it yet. So
Oh, no,
this
no,
is
no.
This is
I got
my
comboed by a breath
my
attack.
live reaction.
Oh no, I got sent back to the spawn.
Yeah, that's bad.
Oh, let's hope the
Ooh,
attackers
that's a
aren't taking
big
advantage
angry
of this
breath.
opportunity and approaching the walls with the trebuchets. That would be unfortunate.
Yeah, hurry back.
I think, you know, they may have caught wind of our They may have they may have caught wind of us trying to kill the ice dragon. We probably should actually reinforce the walls for their approach.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of
Yeah, I
things
think
about
we need to
this
sound
that
the
are
alarm.
really good. Like I said, there's just a few little things that just kind of
Well, we
Everyone
should
back
see-
to the walls.
You know,
Tactical retreat.
tell me
Are
that
they
it's
stealing
it's
the
not a
kill? 'Cause we could
full
probably
alpha
take it
ready
back.
build.
I don't know where they are.
Graphically
Do we have
speaking,
any scouts or any eyes on them?
I would definitely say
I don't think we got
graphically,
no
it's definitely
I'm just gonna get near the front gate. and
advanced
watch with one
alpha.
of
I mean, the
ballistas.
graphics and everything. There's still a few places that need polish.
But I
There's
see
some
that
massive
we have a
optimization.
control point
I mean,
for
when I was
it.
playing this, the game was chewing up almost
I'll jump
13
on this
gigs
thing.
of RAM. That was kind of
All right, I'm on a ballista.
insane. So there's
But I don't
definitely a
see
lot of
anybody
optimization
yet.
that's going to be needed, and I mean they're not going to
I'm gonna go
optimize until they start finalizing a lot of stuff.
I want to see what the dragon's doing.
Quick, everyone, back.
This dragon is probably being kited back to our safe
I
harbor.
will
But
stand
there's just a
solid
few
in
little
the gate.
like there's
Ooh, I
things
just
in
saw
there
a
known
trebuchet fire.
issues.
I think I just saw a trebuchet.
No, there's just
So
a
take
handful
the
of
risk
things
and
that are known
investigate.
issues that
Yeah, maybe that'd be good.
shouldn't
We
be
need
an
some
issue
scouts.
by an
All right, I'm
alpha.
going for it.
You know, they're things that should be
I'm
taken
going on
care
a
of
stealthy
I'm
horse.
just
before you
watching
kind of
right
get to
now.
the Alpha 1 stage. It's still very
Now,
much
you
an
gotta be
Alpha
careful,
0.
Those of you guys who are manning the
You can't really see very far
ballistas,
depth
the
of
trebuchets
field
have a
as far
further
as
distance on their projectiles, so we need to wait until we literally see the whites of their eyes.
well,
They're
one of the
coming,
most
they're coming.
impressive
Where,
things
which side?
about this game
Which
is
side?
The
climbing up
side
on
if you're
top of a
looking away from
mountain
the castle.
and just how much you can see.
Stage left.
Like I grabbed some
Stand by with that.
screenshots. I can't share
Also,
them.
Ice
I
Dragon
would
is
if I
reset.
could,
Nobody's on it.
Sweet.
but like just how far that you can see.
Stand
And
by,
the
hold your fire,
detail,
ballistas, hold your
uh,
fire.
of what you can see at a distance. Like even in this, if you look over in the left there, right, you can see that kind of mountain. You can see the crags and stuff in
Are they on
that
the field
mountain.
yet? No. Okay.
You know,
Not
and
the
that's a
field yet.
pretty
Those
good
are
distance
all to the
away.
left of us in front of the poison dragon.
Oh, I
It's
see.
one of the things that
See them?
really
rush 'em?
impresses me about what they
Oh, I'm
have.
sorry, they're coming over there. Let me
Take 'em
go-
off
let me run
guard.
over there. Yeah. I don't know if we should meet them on the field just yet. What do you think?
Let them.
I mean,
come
we'll
back.
just respawn, so we might as well just kill them.
Also true.
All right, I don't even see them yet. Hold on. Oh, I'm seeing them. Beans, allow me control of this ballista. Thank you, sir.
Alright, they're diverting.
Oh no, they are diverting. Where's their trebuchets?
They must be hiding them.
I don't see the trebuchets just yet. Try to target, lead the target if you can. Alright.
Pull them to the right of the castle.
We should, as soon as we see their trebuchets, we should probably meet them on the field.
Can you take down trebuchets with regular attacks, or do they have to be taken down?
You
Yes.
can't use auto attacks.
Yes, with auto attacks.
I mean, I know they're still working on the combat, so you can't take what you see as combat as gospel. There's still, I guess, a lot
Oh,
of
that says control
changes
point 2. How close is
that they're going to be making to
Pretty
combat.
far off.
Um, you know, the switch between
Control
active
point 1.
and passive combat. Oh, there's a trebuchet back there.
I don't see them yet.
There's one to your left.
I saw some of them.
You know,
We just wiped a ton of their squad off the face.
Oh, I see the trebuchets.
yeah. So
Focus
moving.
fire the trebuchets. Let's jump down and push on
Oh,
them.
look, there's
Everyone,
Clumsy.
jump
There's the
down and
mare.
Push on them unless you're on a.
There's Clumsy the
Ballista.
mare. Wow, this trebuchets were really moving.
Kill the trebuchets if you can.
They're
Don't let
like
them
they're
shoot
like
at the
moving
door.
like a mount. They should not be moving that fast. I don't think they should be moving like a car. I think they should be moving a little slower. I think. And well, again, inertia's a little wonky because inertia-wise, those things should be rolling over people, or at least
Destroy
pushing
it.
them out of the way.
I think we got one down. Yes, you got it down. Good job.
Nicely done.
There's still 3. Oh my God, they have 4 on the hill.
Well, that one looks like it's kind of
Let's
floating.
push out.
But I mean, I'm just
Try to kill the
I'm
drivers.
critiquing nuance at the moment. Okay, so you can target the driver separate from the trebuchet. That's good to know.
Oh, I see
Because the
somebody up
trebuchet
there.
is going to have a
Yes.
lot of
Mark's done.
damage resistance and stuff like that, whereas the driver may
no.
not. If you can target the driver.
Oh no. They're chasing me.
All right, another trebuchet is down.
Okay, and you can tell who's the defender, who's the attacker, because they have the little shield with weapons versus just the crossed swords. So that's good. It makes it a
there's
little.
Asmund Goldbald. Get him. I have him on target.
I like that. You like that?
Oh, here comes another trebuchet.
Oh, thank you very much for the host, Castro. It's appreciated. So yeah, so that's a nice touch. You can very clearly see
secure
who's
the
who's an
citadel.
attacker and who's a defender.
Oh no.
Oh yeah, they just
No!
just wiped
I got
out
killed.
Steven. Nice.
Xerxes. I'll have to run back out.
Really, why would you move?
You know what?
Yeah, I
Take
mean the
flight.
trebuchets are a ranged weapon, right? So why would you
Survey the
get your
field from
trebuchet
above.
so close to the castle?
Oh, we've got a red dragon coming down the hill.
Ooh, I see it. Fire dragon.
Oh, somebody kiting. I don't know.
I found like this underground tunnel area.
Seems like they could be losing here.
Oh, you guys will notice there's a little bit of a bug with the channeling of control points. Try to stay clear of those control points.
Is there in a tomb?
How are our gates looking?
I don't even
Nice
think they
and clear.
touched the gate. Oh, somebody's over.
Yeah, they're in our.
Like nobody there.
Are they?
They're channeling control point 5. They should be, if I know my math. I might not though.
Yeah, no, for sure. But I think if you're in a siege, I think once you get into the siege area, your trebuchet should be moving a little
Attackers
slower,
at the
more
Right.
realistic. Because I mean, those trebuchets were almost moving as fast as a mount.
Oh, they did. They destroyed this gate over here. Oh, they're out in front of it. We need to rally.
But again, look at the attention to detail. Look at the graphics.
Oh, charge them.
Very
Don't let them
nice.
sit out there. Charge.
Yeah, Steven's going to charge and get himself killed. Yeah, it'll be nice when you have more than 3 classes to deal with, and you can kind of see a little more variety.
On my target. He's going down. Got him.
Were they
Got
able to damage the gate with just their regular attacks too, not just the trebuchet?
Yes, their regular attacks and damage the gates.
They were sneaking us. They were trying to distract us with their.
That's a smart way of doing it. Feigning is a big part. Oh, you had some screen tearing there at the top. Like, I don't know what kind of computer. Oh, GM hacks. I don't know what kind of computer.
Oh, attackers are channeling the
they're in
throne? What?
Yeah, I don't know what kind of computer he's running
we
on,
got this.
but I mean, it's holding up. I mean, it looks
Thunder
really good
Valley
for
Throne
how much
Man.
action and stuff like
Alright, we need
that.
to hold the throne.
But I mean, if they're running with 3080s and 3090s,
Sorry for the spam of the control point, everybody watching. It's
You
a
know,
bug.
graphics.
Welcome to Alpha.
Graphically, they're probably doing well.
We need to get in.
I don't know this instancing. I'm not sure if I'm a
Alright,
fan of that. Where you're
Where's this
constantly
person in the throne room?
having to instance your way in.
Do we have eyes in there?
We're working
Oh.
on it. It takes a bit. to
That was
flip
an
back
interesting
in.
little screen tear there. You saw the stretching of the mount. See, now you have everybody congested on.
I wonder if they're under the throne.
You have everyone congested on the person, so it's really hard to target them to click in. So I think that's going to be a potential issue. Because you can have people that just decide to troll a little bit. And if you can't...
Okay. I guess we should probably leave at least a couple people here. 2 people to watch the throne. The rest of us should go out and meet them on the field.
So I'm just, trying to think of like the little bugs and glitches and stuff that people could take advantage of, or unintended consequences of this. And
valuable chests in the throne room.
Yeah, I wonder what's in the chest. Alright, remember, where's control point 5? Oh, it's down below. Got it. They are actually capturing it.
yeah, hopefully there'll be something on the mini map about that.
They're capturing it.
So you can see
Maybe
what
they can rain
is
down fiery hell upon them. Whoops. Uh-oh. I totally accidentally just jumped down here. Hopefully they don't see me.
kill the Steven! Yeah, I'm sure once they see Steven, it's like kill the Sandalord.
Oh no!
Wow, Steven goes down
That
pretty
was
easy.
me.
I think it would be stupid if you open the gates to get outside. Not sure
You know,
opening
again,
those.
stream, I'm gonna have
Yeah,
to
no, for
apologize, but
sure.
I want to get you good footage, so
But I think they're-
might need to cheat just a little bit.
Yeah, see, there goes the cheats. I don't like that. I mean, it's just you're not, because then it doesn't. We're not getting honest gameplay at that point.
All right, I'm a little beef here now. Hold on.
But yeah, I just think there needs to be a different method,
All right. I think
right,
we're ready.
of getting in and out,
I think we're ready.
as opposed to clicking on an NPC and then having dialogue.
Let's see what we
I
can do.
think
How's the
if
front
you're
looking?
a defender
No one on the right side.
and you want to leave, it should be as simple as going through a portal.
I didn't
Or-
see
or
anyone
something,
on the left
right?
Either a moment ago.
But if you have
Yeah,
40 or
Corey-
80 people
Corey and
surrounding
I
that
was
one
right,
NPC,
so-
yeah, exactly. Yeah, 40k health. Yeah, just a little bit.
I am now approaching.
They just took the front. They're taking the
You know,
front
now
gate.
as an attacker, yeah, you got to take the
have
door.
folks
Now,
on
if
the
you
left
want to
out
go
there.
from outside to inside,
Oh, I see the gates getting destroyed.
yeah, I could say, okay, yeah, you need to talk to an
Alright, took him
NPC
down.
maybe.
I love the.
Like, I understand Steven wants to get good
Captain
footage and
Walsh.
stuff like that. That just means he needs to
I'm
play
ready
better,
to fight.
you know? Doesn't need to cheat all the time.
Show me where they are.
Or just don't
Can
be
I do
engaged
it
in the
with my heal
battle, you know,
spells?
just
No, you
fly
cannot.
and fly above
Steven.
everything, make yourself invincible or invisible and just do camera movement.
All right, we should invite the attackers to stand against us at the front gate.
Really
their
like
entirety.
those lizards.
And we
That
should
is,
charge
they
at
are
them.
just a really cool
Let
looking
them
mount.
form
No, on the
across
right
from
side.
us. All right.
We should let them form, and then they must slash bow before.
Oh, there's the
Agreed.
otters. They're just
Attackers, if
adorable.
You can hear
They're
me,
absolutely adorable.
form at the front gate across the
Oh,
way.
kill the NPC and they can't get
I
back
see there's a
in.
dragon
Yeah.
up there.
Well, are they killable? That's a good question, right? Can you kill that NPC and then stop the defenders from gaining
Not
access? That's a very interesting point.
Merely form
Good
yourselves
question.
and we
That'd
shall
be
see
something to test.
who can withstand the other.
Because then, yeah, you kind of get locked outside, right? And then you're
Ballistas,
probably going to
hold the
die.
fire.
Oh, this part is impressive. Okay.
Extend the courtesy. They brought a
Stop
trebuchet.
firing.
Oh, it looks like they're just going to do a line versus line. Oh, look at that trebuchet just getting beat by the ballista.
All right.
Let's take it with
We
3
shall meet
hits.
on the battlefield in 10-second countdown. In 9,
10,
8,
9,
7,
7, 6,
6.
5,
Came after
4,
7. 5,
3,
4, 3, 2, 1.
Oh.
For Narnia!
I mean, this is really cool to see this many people, because I never played PlanetSide, so I never got to experience this. I mean, and this was something that World of Warcraft always alluded to, but just never achieved, right? Like, Warcraft could never achieve anything like this, even though it did attempt to do it. It was able to do it in its video sequences. But yeah, the fact that you can have this many players, and probably more. See, this is unfair, right? Because people are attacking Steven thinking he's got the same amount of health as everybody else. And he's just going to raffle stomp him because he's just got sheer health. He doesn't even have to be a good player because he's not. Steven's an average player, which is great. I mean, I like that. I like the fact that, you know, even though...
they flee?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, WoW absolutely fails at this. It advertised it could do it. I remember back in what was it? The Burning Crusade. You know, and that you could do stuff like this. Like Zangara Marsh has an open world PvP kind of capture the flag, capture the tower area. But you get more than a couple handfuls of people in there, and it's so laggy and buggy. But yeah, here, Steven's just got pure health on his side.
They don't know I have the strength of the gods behind me.
Yeah, exactly, because you can't see your opponent's health, right? Like, you don't know how much health they actually have. So they're all trying to beat on him when they should be beating on everybody else but him.
Explosions.
Yeah, bad news with Steven and his health. What, it's not going to save him at the end of the day? Well, like I said, Steven's a normal player. He's an average player, right? Like, he knows how to play, but he's not like some people that
so the great thing you guys are watching is
you know, he's not like a godlike player.
Network is handling this, 100+ players right now pretty well.
Yeah, no, I see very little lag,
know,
very little tearing. Even with all the spells and everything, like with all the visual effects, all the particle effects and everything, it is handling it really well.
30 or so players in this fight, and while there were,
like, you're getting really good rendering.
The network actually wasn't too bad.
And you're not even seeing a degradation in the graphical quality, really. But they're probably running 3080s, 3090s. So, I mean, let me get in there with my GTX 980, and I'm pretty sure my computer's going to light on fire.
Seek vengeance. Oh, no.
Oh, somebody pulled him off his mount.
Talents.
That was impressive. I think it did a couple of times, but that was rubber banding. So that was more a glitch in the first day or whatever that they did seem to fix.
I got 2 up here.
Oh, 1080 Ti. Nice. I still have a 980. I mean, I'm starting to crash out of Apex now because it's old. It's tired. But my new AMD's coming in. I got my Dark Hero 3 motherboard, and I have my AMD 5900 XT processor coming in. I just have to drum up $500 for 32 gigs of RAM, find a power supply. I'm surprised I found the processor before I found the power supply. Yeah, I had to relog. But like I said, that was when it was rubber banding really bad. Otherwise,
oh, he's got a friend.
no, I think the only issue I had at all in any of the alpha was when we found those red dragons. We had that laser beam that went on forever. Remember that? And you were mentioning, Jibble, something about power lines. I got the same thing, where I had just lines that went through the sky forever, but I restarted the client and everything, and they went away.
Can't take me.
But again, I'm not going to blame that on the game. I think, because I was playing all day, I just think it's the video card. I mean, like I said, it's a GTX 980.
Who left their
It's,
crown on?
I don't know, 6-7 years old.
It's
So
getting, like,
it's
ripped apart over here.
it's
Luckily,
kind
I
of,
came
I mean, I've
with
already had to
some
replace the motherboard on my computer here just because it's a 6-year-old computer.
Oh, they might actually
So
bring me
I'm
down.
not, I can't, in all of my testing so far, and it was only the weekend,
Oh, no.
I cannot honestly attribute any
Oh, I can't even move.
performance issue
CC lock.
to the client.
No.
Because
Get off
my
me.
computer is old,
I'm
right? It's a 6700K. It's an A170. So, yeah, I'm going to guess it's probably Steven. And welcome
Where's
to
my
the stream.
defense?
I'm just giving an honest reaction. So even, I mean, a 1080 Ti still, that's 4 times better than my graphics card. But, I mean, again, look
Well,
at,
I think we'll end it there.
you know,
It's, I think.
wow, even with the
hope you guys
godlike,
enjoyed just a little look at the,
even with the
Castle
godlike
Siege system that's in
health, he
Alpha
still got
1.
wiped out.
It still needs a lot of work.
But yeah, I mean,
obviously.
again,
There's a
the
lot of polish
particle
to be
effects
had,
are
some
great.
bugs to
There's
be
no
fixed, but,
degradation.
these are
I'm
gonna be
seeing
running 4
very little
times a day,
lag.
actually, during the month-long alpha test.
I
and,
mean,
they run about an hour
that part
long,
is
we reduce
crazy
the
impressive.
time. But,
very
victory
impressive.
conditions for the attackers obviously is to capture the final
The
control point, which
graphics,
is the
like, again, the
throne.
detail
And
still
then
holds
for
up.
the
There's still a
defenders,
lot of
there will be
optimization where
a,
it'll look kind of gray
NPC that
boxy and it takes a
basically the
little bit
sergeant
to
at arms
render,
for the
but that's
attacking
to be
side that you
expected.
can
That's
kill
normal.
or running out the clock.
I mean, I see
I'm
games
just
that
gonna
are
run up here
released
with
that have that
being
problem,
said,
right?
wanna
Apex
thank everybody
Legends.
for
How
tuning
many
in. We'll
times
see
have
back on stream.
have
Hope
you guys been
enjoyed.
watching me play that?
And
The world hasn't
live here.
even rendered
they're, like, breaking
incompletely,
through the
right? So brand new games, or not new games, but games that are
see if they can actually break through the
relatively
gate.
fully optimized have that issue.
Well, I think they're actually,
This
no,
game,
they're breaking
look at the
down
detail.
The inner key.
Look at the detail at a distance, and it
Okay, we'll
isn't
just see
fully
if-
optimized. So
no,
I'm really excited
falling
to see
apart.
where this game goes
Most of our
when
forces
it's
are right there.
fully optimized. I think it's going to be crazy.
Yeah, they're definitely breaking through the gate right now.
I have 64 gigabytes of RAM,
I'm just gonna hold on.
and I'm overclocked 20%.
Oh, I'm killing a whole bunch of them.
Yeah, they're
I
definitely.
just
they're
dropped an
coming through.
AoE.
Now I think my RAM is,
The gate is like getting. torn
yeah,
apart
like
right
my
now.
RAM's overclocked too.
Oh no! I think you guys wiped.
Well, I think the problem is I run a Valheim server and a Minecraft server
The whole group.
simultaneously
Oh,
almost all the time.
All right, we'll see you guys back on stream.
And
Hope
then
you
I'm
guys
working on the online radio, but
everybody.
the online radio's this computer.
All right. Well, we hope you all
Right there.
enjoyed that. We'll
That's
have
the
it kind of
online
running in the
radio.
background whilst we
I just don't
chat
have
a
it turned
little
on
bit
right
more.
now.
But,
But,
I did want
that will be
to
Phoenix
touch
Radio
on one topic that kind of came up a
when
couple
I,
times, which was, are there
get
gonna
a
be
little
ways
bit
to
more
repair
music.
walls, siege
I got to get more
machines, things like
commercials
that?
written too.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's not going to be present in alpha, but those are long-term designs for these types of events, right? Obviously there's a lot of ancillary activities that can be had during sieges. Sieges kind of take.
I mean, that looks like a lot of fun. I am excited to get in there and play
raid versus raid
with
components, but also you want to have
tens
individual
of other people.
contributions
Like I said, I'm
where
not a
players can
PvP
do
guy
things, during the siege to
when
aid
it's
in
not
greater
my
effort,
choice,
so to speak,
or
and it doesn't
like
require
I don't
you
have the
having,
ability to
50 people by your side
you
to
know,
effectuate that
have
influence
some
over something.
basic
repairs
control.
are great
I
ways
hate
to do
being
that,
just
repairs for walls,
somebody
repairs for
runs up
gates,
on the top of your
being
head
able
and
to
down you
spawn
go and all your stuff
essentially
spills out of your
craft,
pockets.
the
Not a
designs
fan of
for
that.
specific types of siege weapons
But,
to provide those to the team. There's
Actually, I
a
don't know if
lot
my
of,
RAM's
rookies
266.
are great
I know my
sources of
old
content
RAM
this in
was,
the
but when I
past,
upgraded to my
but,
new RAM on this thing, I
there's a
think
lot of
it's
intent of designs.
I
What
think
you're
it's like
seeing here is,
28
again,
or
what
3200
Alpha runs all
actually
about, that core
for this
system, the
computer,
base
I think.
functionality. We're vetting.
Can I hit creature? Will
So I
it take
have
damage?
Right.
Like that
32
kind
gigs
if I
of
use
RAM
spell,
and 8
this type of spell, will
gigabyte
it put a
sticks.
hot
I know
dot
that
on
was
somebody and a
266.
hot on this person, like
Absolutely.
really testing the functionality, less about like how much balance is happening, right? Like, and
But I just like the
obviously,
fact that you can
Steven has to
finally,
negotiate 'cause he's
like I
trying
never
to put
played
on a good
Planet
video
Side.
for
It just
you
never
all,
seemed to
so
be my kind
if
of
he
game.
just left his health at a normal health,
But
he would die.
finally,
'cause
there's an
50
MMO,
people trying to kill him.
a medieval
So I just
themed
wanna put a little,
MMO
Yeah, I
emphasis
wanna
on
make
that
sure
part.
where you can have
see what's
that
happening,
epic
and in order order
And he
to
still
do that,
died.
sometimes
Meet
I
it-
still died.
cross
In
the
order to do that,
valley
sometimes I'd have to do
and
some
battle.
cheating, so apologize for that. I also
You know,
saw,
I mean, I
know,
look
you
at
guys
movies like
mentioned this,
Rand
there
for
wasn't really
inspiration
many
on that kind of
there wasn't
battle.
any diminishing returns on CCFX, right? I was getting like pulled in every direction and constantly being tripped.
Yeah,
and
there's a
knocked
lot of
down,
CCs
and,
in
you know,
there.
those diminishing returns aren't in yet, so there is going to be diminishing returns for CCFX. I also noticed, you know, I mentioned this prior to the video and mentioned during the video, there was a UI bug for the control point spam. You saw that
Yeah.
on screen. It was
I don't worry about
updating
the
control
UI.
points as
Like I
people were
said, the
moving in and
UI
out of
is
the vicinity
something
of
that
those control points.
you polish
That
later.
actually will be moved
You
to a
want
separate
functionality in
location.
an alpha.
It'll have some cooldown on it,
And the game is
and
very
will be kind
functional.
of
Like
more
all the
minimized,
little
and
things
the
they
ability
say
for the
that are
player to hide those types of
not
modifications.
quite
Right
like
now,
what
it's
you
just
call an
routed
alpha
through the
ready
main
state
broadcast messaging.
is where you have things that
Additionally,
like you can't
one
jump
real
on top of
important
a
takeaway from
box.
this, I know you guys are seeing this. It looks
Right?
like
You can
fun
jump higher than the
gameplay.
box, you can't jump
You know,
on the
you're
box
seeing it
because
in the
you know
bare
they
bones
haven't
fashion, but the really important
cleaned
takeaway, I
up
think, is the
kind of the
smoothness of the
proportions.
game, right? With those many
Yes,
characters
diminishing
optioned in.
returns,
Mind
absolutely,
you,
Yoda. I
I
agree,
am 1080
100%.
Ti and I'm recording in 4K footage.
So yeah, so the fact that he's got a
on
1080 Ti
widescreen
does make
monitor.
it even more
So,
impressive.
like,
Don't get me
you know,
wrong.
you're seeing
That
it
is
from
even
my
more
perspective,
impressive.
and it's looking smooth. And
How
especially
Steven
you
is
don't
only
see this
using a
very often
1080
in
Ti
alpha versions of games, or at least
when
alpha versions of
obviously you
games.
guys
So I think
must
that
have
bodes
access to
very
better
well
cards.
for the
But at the same
future and
time,
what our intents are from a massive
you know, I think when you're
multiplayer
doing this kind of
standpoint,
stuff
right?
and you
Like,
can say,
our
we're
whole
doing this on a
goal is to
1080
create
Ti,
these very
you're
fun and
recording
fluid
and
massive
playing the
interactions. I mean,
game.
that's the future, in
I
my
mean, that
opinion, of
is
gaming in general,
even
is to
more
have
impressive.
that, you know, high participation and just volume of players that are present in these
Yeah,
types
not
of
necessarily.
activities.
Yeah,
That
it
doesn't
has
mean
more to
that
do with the
everything you do
cache.
in an MMO will be a part of some
Higher
massively
hertz doesn't
multiplayer
really matter.
component,
That's why you don't
but
see
in these
computers in
types
that
of
6
high-octane
gigahertz
environments and
or
sieges
8
where,
gigahertz. I
you
mean,
know,
we've
a
been
lot
at
of people
3 to
are
4
making investments in
gigahertz
the
now
outcome of
for a
these types of
decade, over a
activities. It's
decade.
fun to see that you can actually participate without having to worry
What
about your
makes the
computer
difference is your
blowing up
cache,
or,
right?
you
It's
know, working frame by
how
frame,
fast
or,
is
you
that
know, everything not being
information
good.
kind
you
of
know,
going
a
in
lot
and
of
out
the testing we've been doing lately has been to
through like the memory and stuff.
essentially our networking layer, the optimizations, you know, the bugs that we find and all that stuff. And
I don't know.
keep it
I mean,
lean
if
and
it's a
keep it,
brand new card,
performant.
Yoda, yes.
The other thing I noticed,
This card is what,
you already
6-7
mentioned
years
it was
old?
TV on the show.
Yeah, and that was a
So,
great
I mean,
segue, actually, to
they do
the
get
next
tired. They do.
topic, which incorporates
They do
McPhee.
wear out.
In regards to the performance and
I mean, I
optimization stuff
replaced
that
a
our
video
engineering
card with
team
this
is
one,
doing in,
'cause this is a
collaborating
loaner
with
from
our
Core
design
Code.
team, obviously.
Because
So
my
we'll talk
video
a little
card,
bit
what was
about that
mine?
in, you know, in regards to the
I think mine
playtest
was a
and the progress towards Alpha
1660 or
1.
something like
So if you wanna
that.
kind of go over
And
those
I
things,
burnt that
McPhee,
out in
and
3
Steven
years.
and I can add in some
Literally, it
extra
was like
topics
just
here
after the
as
warranty
we go
expired,
through it.
the card died.
Yeah, sure.
I should have got,
So
you know, and it's like, do
basically,
you get the extended warranty?
the
What's
big
your
thing we
opinion?
found out during our
Uh,
testing
I didn't want to
is
pause any of
we
this,
had
but
some sort of
I'm gonna, because this is going to be a little off. So, what is your opinion on buying extended warranties, right? Because video cards come with what well, I think now they come with a 2 or 3 year warranty. My card came with a 3-year warranty, and literally it was, I think, a couple of months after the warranty expired, the card crapped out. So, is it worth it to buy that extended warranty? Like I used to work for Staples, and I used to sell computers, and I actually got fired because I was a part-time employee working at Staples in the computer department, and you have full-time guys. Now, the full-time guys had to work on it wasn't quite commission, but they had to do a quota or something like that. So it was performance-based, right? So what ended up happening is I would get, say, an older couple, and I don't know, I just have a way of explaining how computers work to older people. And so I would be dealing with an older couple. They'd be wanting to buy a computer. I'd be asking all the right questions. And what they wanted me to do was pass that customer on to the full-time guy on the floor so they could get the sale. And then their sales numbers would go up, and then they would get bonuses or whatever. I wasn't doing that, mainly because the old people didn't like it, right? I would talk to them about how, you know, why an antivirus, you know, back this is what? Early 2000s, right? When antiviruses actually mattered. Now, an antivirus is really useless. The way the viruses and everything work, whatever comes with Windows is good enough. Maybe get malware bites or CC Cleaner, they'll kind of catch most of the other stuff, but for the most part, antiviruses are too reactionary, and they're not really going to protect you versus the performance degradation on your system if you are not a risky user of the internet. And the internet is far more safer today than it was when you had all these remember those little bars you'd get? Those little add-ons. I use CC Cleaner. I use the free version. I don't pay for it. But it does, the free version actually does a good job. Just turn it off when you're not running it. But I used it in computer tech when I was doing computer servicing. Oh yeah, it's pretty good. That regedit for registry editing. But yeah, they're remember you used to get all those little search bars for everything. Like ICQ had one, Yahoo had one. Like everybody. I remember getting computers where the customer would come in and say, yeah, like they can't see the website. So you boot up their computer and all you see is these little bars, right? You'd be clicking them all off and oh my God, like those things were crazy. Probably had a period, or it thinks that you said yeah. Anyway, so the issue is extended warranties don't cover what the normal warranty covered. Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, you have to read the small print and make sure you're actually going to get some level of coverage. I always read the small print. I always read the fine print. That's why certain websites I won't even upload pictures on, like for certain social medias. Well, that's why I took myself off of most social media. If it wasn't for the fact that I'm trying to build a web presence, I wouldn't even bother being on social media for the most part, because I find most of it's just cancer. But anyways, yeah, extended warranties. Do you think they're worth it or not? Like I said, I had a video card that literally months after the warranty expired, the card crapped out. I think what happened is the fan bearing, or well, I don't think it was a bearing-less fan, but anyway, it wasn't rotating, and the rest of the computer is loud enough with all the other fans that I couldn't hear that it wasn't working. And back then, you didn't have all the little monitoring stuff that you could do like you can now. So I had no idea that basically my video card was just cooking itself because the fan wasn't working. So you don't overclock. I don't overclock by much. Like I said, I'm overclocking 20%, which really isn't much. Anyways, back to the video.
Did AI controllers that were just hanging out all over our world, and they were just increasing.
I'm still sad that Jeff has left.
So we've decreased the.
I do have a sad for that.
But we have yet to find.
But I hope we will see Mr. Bard in game regardless.
Added instrumentation to discover that.
So I have to go to work in 15 minutes. I'm going to be late because we are not done.
Where like the longer the servers went on, the more you
I'll just pause.
Like,
yeah, I guess he's working with another company to do virtual reality, which is his passion. Yeah, I didn't know there was a letter, so I'll be checking out the letter.
The next things that you guys are working on and focusing on.
Yeah, I missed it too. That's what happens when you're trying to pay for $1,000 in recent purchases.
Performance optimizing at the network level.
To get Windows 10 Pro
MPCs and client performance.
And the AMD chip. With shipping is just under $1,000.
Profiles on the servers.
Because it was
also on the client.
We
also have.
It was $800 with tax for the processor, and $189 for Windows 10 Pro, and $9 shipping.
Able to identify during these large tests.
Jibble, if you know where the link is, if you can just send me the link in Discord, we'll go over the letter after this, and I'll just make that a separate letter.
And then run profiles again and get the next thing.
Right on this one, yeah, I'd have to look.
So it's an iterative process, but
I know the RAM I'm getting for the new computer, I think is 36.
Yeah, and if you guys, I think there were a few questions
It's
regarding
the
like,
most
what our
optimal
requirements
RAM
are and specs in regards to that.
with the motherboard.
We do have that on our support page in the FAQ section. You can see what our current
Okay.
expected requirements are for min.
Yeah, I
and
think it's
spec,
36.
and then what we recommend.
Well,
as
see, I don't know
currently.
if my
Obviously, if
current
that changes, we'll
motherboard.
update those
I think I'm running
articles, but,
32
if you're looking for that
on the
information,
current
it is available
system.
to you already.
I think it's 32.
Next thing you guys were working on was like the hitching and eliminating that stuff. Can you talk a little bit more about?
Well, I'm glad they got rid of the
Yes.
that
So one thing
overbearing
that we
purple
do for
from
optimization
the auto
is we
attack.
kind of merge character meshes together, and
Actually, let me
we
see.
weren't doing it in the most efficient manner. and
I'll tell you what it
was
is. I just
causing
gotta find a.
generation to occur pretty often, which would hitch the client as these things were merged together into a new mesh. So Alexi did some fantastic work on that and knocked that all of that out. So now we have a much smoother performance with the client.
Because I'm getting Trident
and then another
Z
thing
Neo.
that, engineering is providing.
That's what I'm looking for.
To design is, we talked about this in the past, and you likely saw in this video.
it's
I
crucial.
noticed there were a few comments in the chat section about combat and some of the changes that are occurring in combat. Obviously, there are visual changes that Jim and Adrian on the VFX side are doing with weapon trails and impact effects.
No, it's G-Skill
and those
RAM.
are definitely getting refined. But additionally, there's an entirely new ability system that's being coded on the back end. That's customized for particularly network optimization. And,
We have a section.
I know
for
for
that,
just
Steven.
32
so
gigs.
sorry, I just
Or-
jumped the gun. All right,
or
I'll wait for
64.
section.
We have
That was
two
like
more
500
things that we
bucks.
wanted to cover in regards to the alpha one and then combat.
Let me
for
comment
sure.
real quick on the combat balance. So I noticed many of you
I'm not
are
a fan
talking
of the
about, like,
look
damage being done
of
and, like,
the-
doesn't look like it's enough damage or hit points and
Of
stuff
the
like that.
RAM.
Two things on that front. One is, again, this
Considering
is
it's
not
a Dark
content
Hero
test,
motherboard, is
so
kind of wanting
balance is kind of fingering
dark
the
RAM.
wind at the moment. Most of balancing comes out of actual testing around those particular systems,
Yes.
and we're not focused on that at the moment, right? Again, this is about the core.
But yeah,
functionality
3600
of
megahertz
these types of
CL
systems, not about
16.
the
I was
refinement
getting
or,
CL 18.
getting them
So
pretty.
they must be out of stock on the CL
I wouldn't take too
18.
much stock or concern in how the balance is gonna.
I think it was
gonna flesh
3600.
out. And then additionally, when we talk about participating in this test, so right now it only goes up to level 15, right? And the composition of class skills or archetype skills kind of has to tread a fine line between two roads.
I wanted
One,
CL 18.
we want it to be representative of skills not just that would traditionally be found 1 through 15, but we're actually introducing some skills that
Well,
might
I'm
be
glad
found
Steven
later because we
popped
wanna
by,
test
though.
those particular ideas.
It's always appreciated.
And how the skill functions. So this is kind of a.
But yeah, if he's only running a 10,
so to speak, of what leveling will look
a
like,
1080
and what skill
Ti,
compositions will exist for particular
then that
archetypes,
does make this
in
far
an
more impressive
environment
that
like
this game is
Alpha,
able to handle
where
all
you're
this.
not actually seeing what
It
level
kind of gives me
15
hope
is
that I'll be able
really
to
like when the game launches, but per se how it is now.
run
so
this
it can
if I don't get
facilitate
this
our
new
needs
computer
during
done.
this alpha phase, right? And that's an important thing to keep in mind.
Yeah, and if McP, you want to touch on the
Yeah,
on
no,
the
exactly.
combat, we'll move forward on the comment. We'll come back to the.
You are
other
not wrong,
couple
Mr.
topics that
Yoda.
we had here. You want to talk
Sure.
a little bit?
Yeah, it's
your
more about
guys'
it's more
perspective
about
on
the
combat
speed
ability stuff that you guys are working on?
of information going in and
Yeah,
out.
so
The
a big part of
accessibility.
Trying to improve performance is getting rid of our Unreal actor-based combat system. So it was heavy on
Like right now.
putting in different new actors and spawning them to sort of control the flow of our abilities. or
So I'm
attacks,
just streaming and
spells,
watching this
etc.
video. I'm
So
running a
Adam,
Valheim
Crickage
server.
has been working
The
very
Minecraft one's
hard
turned
on
off.
a newer, better, more efficient system.
So
It
I'm
also
running right
allows,
now
designers more control
at 70%
and,
CPU at
capability in
4.8
setting up
gigahertz.
impactful
And I'm
and
running at
cool
45%
sort of,
memory
action combat
with 64
feels,
gigs of memory.
more actiony than what we have.
And then
He's
my
also
video
been
card
aided
is running
by
at
Steven in that
33%
effort. So
at 38
we try
degrees.
to give design and art.
But my
maximum
dedicated
support so we
GPU
can get
memory
this new
usage,
system
which is 4
fleshed
gigs,
out
is
over
maxed
time
out.
and
I
to
don't
play.
understand that part, but
Yeah, and some of the additional changes that design's been doing kind of to the existing
I think that's the
system while we're
onboard
waiting
video,
for
though.
that
I think that's what
to
that is.
come
My
into place.
onboard video is still trying to work, even though I'm not
Brian
using
Ferguson
that port.
and Trad
Wonder if there's a way to turn
Thompson,
that off, actually.
have been working along with Chris Justo and some of the other designers as well. I'm sorry if I forget all who have been working on the particular system. There's like a bunch of different things, but kind of speeding up the combo animations, right? The attacks on the combo side, and then also providing a little bit more versatility to the directional movement, the rotational movement between these combo attacks. Right now, it's still root motion setup, but we're going to be testing with some split body animations and split body attacks over the next several weeks. And then
Well, that's
additionally,
3D,
obviously, you guys have
copy,
seen as we
video
kind of
encode, video
incorporated more
decode,
mobility components
dedicated
to
GPU
existing
memory usage,
abilities,
shared
such as the
GPU
Mage and
memory
the
usage.
Fireball. This has been kind of taken broadly over across many of
And then
the
I have utilization,
the 3 archetypes that are available in
GPU memory,
alpha,
shared
across
GPU
many of their
memory,
abilities.
dedicated
And then we've
GPU
also
memory, GPU
included
temperature.
the ability to kind of hold your Q or left mouse button to initiate and cycle through those attacks. I know we had a lot of piano fingers out there and some early onset arthritis probably in a few joints.
That was me on the weekend, just banging away on the Q button.
It was a lot. We got a lot of feedback in regards to spamming the audio attack button.
Yeah, I was one of those
and
guys,
you
just
talked
tap,
a
tap,
little
tap,
bit
tap,
about
tap,
the
tap.
split animation, Stephen, but can you maybe go into a little bit more detail about like what that is,
Sure.
how that works? Because maybe not everyone understands exactly what that means.
Absolutely. So, if you guys recall, about 2 years ago or so,
And we can go over it
with the testing that we
offline,
did
Yoda.
during
I mean, I know
APOC,
this computer.
A lot of that was focused around getting action combat.
I had help
information.
building
And
this one.
initially,
I
when we
didn't
began that
do
testing,
all the
we
research
had full
myself,
split
so
body animations and
where the new
combo
one,
attacks essentially with weapons, where
I've been doing my due
your
diligence.
upper body would perform the animation of the attack, right, and that upper body would be locked, but your lower body would be free to continue moving, and that's what we refer to kind of as that split body. So that allows you to move while you attack per se. Right now, what you're seeing with these combo attacks on the weapons front is that your body is essentially locked in this root motion where
No, I don't know what
forward with
REM's in
each
there right
attack,
now.
and that
I
can
have to find
sometimes
the
feel a
case.
little cumbersome, right? But
It
the
might be
feedback we got early
266,
on
but I
during
think I put
APOC is that,
3200 in it.
Without that weightedness that is incorporated from the root motion,
I'm pretty sure
it felt
266
floaty,
was
and
in
people,
here
didn't
before.
feel that the attacks were very substantial. So we introduced that root body motion in order to.
Oh, see, there's a
provide
perfect
some
target
additional
right.
weight
Look at
to
all
the
those guys
attacks.
running in the middle there,
Now
just
we're
ignoring
kind
all of them.
rethinking that approach from an action.
Could have had like a
standpoint,
nice
at
big.
least with regards to the weapon.
I don't know what kind of
attack, right?
AOE the ballista have.
And the idea there, and just to give further context, why weapon attacks are important. A lot of times in MMOs, your weapon attacks aren't that important, right? It's all about your kind of ability system. But the weapon attacks in Ashes of Creation are intended to provide.
Yeah, well, it's not
these
telling me.
ancillary status conditions that occur. You can spec points into the different groupings and class of weapons that your character might use. So, for example, if you're wielding a dagger and you're doing these stab attacks, it might have a chance
Have a
if you
driver
spec points
version,
into it
driver
to
date,
proc a
track
bleed
dex
effect.
version,
And that
physical
bleed effect will
location,
synergize then
hardware
with your
reserved
class
memory.
kit that you've spec'd into for your ability system. So, for example, if you have a backstab against a target that's bleeding, you might deal amplified damage, or you might, you might cripple the target, or snare them, so to speak. So the weapon attack is an important component of the combat system. So we want to make sure that as we're doing this combat revamp, that we are essentially taking into consideration player feedback and sentiment about how they want a reactive and more mobile weapon attack system.
Yeah, it's really weird. Listen to your players. I'm not sure about that one.
That is
Yeah,
true.
very
I
is.
didn't even think about that. Yeah, that is weird.
I mean, your weapon attack is
in regards
often
to
a
looking
finisher
at
when you're on
players, we are always
cooldown.
putting up new forum threads for dev discussion, guild discuss.
And
guild
you've
gatherings
used
and
up
other
all
things.
your
Twitch
abilities
does
that are
an
on
amazing job
cooldown,
of
then
putting those
yeah,
up
your
and
weapon
also
attack
completing reports
is
on those,
very
as well as
necessary.
the overall forums every month, and all of your guys' feedback and our social media folk. Peter,
Especially
is
against squishies, since your
fantastic at putting-
squishies are usually
compiling
more
together all of our
resilient
social reports, so
to
all of the things that you
abilities
guys send us there,
versus
and then on the
a
CS
melee
front, Adam.
attack
So
in
we're definitely
almost any
feedback that
situation,
you guys send
as
us,
far as
we're
Dungeons and
compiling
Dragons
those
go.
things. We're analyzing data, and even outside of the game versus inside, where maybe Steven and McP are more hands-on with that stuff. We're listening in all the places as much as possible. I'm gonna
Like,
go
I
back a
like how
little bit
there's
to
so
talk a
many
little bit more
people
about Siege, and if you
just
wanna
running
talk
around
more
together,
about
and
what kind of
there's
work you
like
guys
no
have been
lag.
working on towards that McP.
You're getting all these particle effects. And it's,
done a pretty
I mean, it's
substantial amount of work
so
in
clean.
Apocalypse, and it wasn't something, as I recall, that we had released to players in any sort of public format that we had in.
Like, there's no dumbing down. of
we were able to
effects.
bring
There's
all
no
of that work over
like from what I understand in Planet side, and this happened in World of Warcraft too. When you had so many people in one area,
primarily by Alexi.
it would all
Did a fantastic
move
job.
to
So,
default
that
skins,
would be the siege weapon,
where it doesn't look like it's
the
going to
gates
default skins.
and the overall mechanics of how
Control
it was.
point system. the
Yeah,
data
I
image,
mentioned that a
the,
little earlier
um,
too. That is
the
kind of
respawn, the
unfortunate.
team settings, all of those things. Yeah.
Guild registration.
But
all
I
of
mean,
that good
they're
stuff.
working probably more or less Monday to Fridays as well.
Yeah,
You know,
and just to expand on that, I know
bankers hours.
We got a lot of flack for APOC in the past.
No,
but
that's
again,
very true,
all
and
of
that
those
might be
systems
by
were
design
designed
right
for
now.
The MMORPG, and
it might not be about pushing
they
the
were intended
servers
to be
at this
isolated
time
and
so
testing
much
platforms,
as
to get early data
trying to
on
collect
that
other
stuff.
metrics.
And now, much time later, as we have an Alpha 1 present,
and there
we're
might
able
be
to
certain
move
metrics
over,
that are
that
best
code
collected when the
and
servers
introduce it
aren't
as was
being
intended into the MMO. And yeah, Alexi
stressed out.
spearheaded that, poured over, and did a great job.
I also want to add that all of our back-end systems, all of our platform services,
People are going to love
all
it when
of
this
that
game
is a
comes out on the
product
Switch.
of the
Kidding, I don't think this is
project,
coming out on
and without that,
console.
we wouldn't be able to have a Patro launcher or
I don't want to start anything.
hosting or anything for that matter.
Yeah.
We had to build everything from scratch. It wasn't just lying on the floor for us to
Yeah, let's talk a little bit
And
about
that's actually.
go ahead, Stephen.
Sorry, real quick. That's actually a
you're good.
great important point, Kevin. Is a lot of times what you'll find with other companies and other projects is that they're actually reusing stuff that they've built in the past, right? And we are literally building everything from scratch.
Right.
So, with that being said, everything's being built in a particular fashion or way that's customized for our
Okay,
intents,
so I'm
and that's a good
using.
thing. But that's why it takes
Yeah, I am
time, and
using
that's why it takes
2666,
testing, and that's why it takes,
but it's
feedback, is
overclocked
because this
to
is-
be like
while it's not our
2800.
first rodeo, and we have a lot of veteran developers as a
So,
company and as a
yeah, I am
project.
using
As I said, these things are
2666
being built from
RAM,
scratch, and they require a
but
lot of
it's
testing and
overclocked.
a lot of time to flesh out.
Yeah, I think that was the limit of the motherboard, if I remember right.
Let's go into
And
platform
32.
a little bit more, because
I thought I got
obviously platform
32. Maybe they
services
couldn't get
handles,
32
our
for this
metrics,
motherboard,
our cloud
because it's a
hosting, our
6-year-old
patch, our
motherboard.
launcher, our website. Like, it's a lot of stuff. Can you go into detail on?
I
kind
mean,
of
this
what that
computer
team
I
is
built
working on and
in
how
2015,
that affects the things that
early
the players are
2015.
experiencing?
Yeah, so that team's led by Mark Storch, and he's got.
So I think I'm
Twan,
using the
Eric,
max
Rich,
RAM you can put in this
working
board.
with him, and they're doing an incredible job. And then we have, of course, Zim, who is making sure.
I really like that portal smoke. That looks really good.
Drop off a rig last night for you.
Yeah,
Thank you, Zim, for coming.
yeah, I know the
over.
motherboard does do that.
I know you
Oh,
had an
awesome! Thank
early
you.
Morning, because I think he had a morning at 8 a.m. to go back to the office to get.
So what I'll do is we'll finish this video and then
Yeah, so there was.
I'll take a leak and then we'll.
Into our data center to replace some stuff at like 4 a.m. So it's an on-call kind of job, and he rocks it.
There, and we'll
So
go over that letter
but on the platform
in it
services
for a
side,
separate contribution to my
Mark's
YouTube.
team has done an amazing job of standing up our hosting in the cloud, of making sure that everyone can patch and connect to the product. They handle all the persistence of not only the characters, but any account.
I look at all the detail. I mean, it's all still there. You got all of these players in this area. And it's also there. And again, this bunching up, at least once they get inertia figured out, maybe.
It's an enormous amount of work. It's very technical. And on top of that, they put together.
I mean, that makes it really tough to click on the quest giver.
Real-time performance of these different processes.
Unless there's a way to use like a tab target to switch to toggle between NPCs.
I tell them thank you
and
every single day. Not only are they assisting.
Yeah, I'm hoping to. I just need to get the money, but they keep wiping. So, but when they do the Alpha 2,
also on my end assisting with community
that's supposed to be a
CS,
persistent
all
world.
the time in regards to, and I guess technically marketing.
But yeah, I mean, in the month-long test, I'm definitely gonna try and make a guild.
Very closely with them, and a lot of the
yes,
bugs
I
and
agree,
things that
Yoda.
we encounter.
I mean, I didn't get to play on the test in Thursday.
So they're just powerhouses, killing it. And
thank you very much for the follow, Runarok, Runacor. Okay. Hopefully I pronounced that right. Pardon me if I don't. what was I going to say now? Yeah, so in as far as I understand, Alpha 2 is a persistent world, and Alpha 1 they do wipes fairly regularly. But to the comment here that Yoda said, it's really nice to see that they're constantly making good changes. I didn't play in Thursday's alpha test because I had to work, but just reading their communication in the Discord is really impressive, right? You got Toast, you got Margaret, you got Steven, and the communication is, they like, it's like, okay, we're aware there's this major issue, we're working on it. And then, hey, we think we have a hot fix, we're bringing the servers down in half an hour. Okay, servers are going to be down for about an hour. We're bringing the servers back up. Oh, and by the way, we're going to increase the length of testing by an additional 1 to 2 hours. So even though you've lost an hour for them to hotfix, they're going to allow you to continue the test later than they've programmed. In all of the alpha tests that I've done, the majority of studios do not do that. I would say 90% is like, test is over. Yeah, we fixed it, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Test is over. We'll see you next test. These guys communicate very well with the alpha crowd. So that is definitely kudos to them. And that is, again, in all the alpha testing I've done over the last 20 years, and I've done a little bit, paid and unpaid. They do a really decent job of communicating with the testers, and they actively do improve the game on the run, on the fly, and there are noticeable changes even over the weekend. Day 1 was unplayable. Day 2 was far more playable. Day 3, they even tweaked a couple of other things. And so, yeah, even within a 3-day period, a weekend, they are making these little tweaks and improvements, and that's fantastic. I have literally seen the same bug and a persistent bug start in alpha and remain until launch, and after launch, Defiance, never get fixed. They are doing a really good job of recognizing these bugs and fixing these bugs and releasing, a new build or something, every time. And yeah, definitely kudos in that regard. Can't take anything away from that.
Did you want to add
Allow us
anything
to
else on that front,
play
Steven?
more. You mean force us
No,
to
just,
test without pay? We pay them to test.
I guess sentiment, just to reiterate to you guys,
Oh,
and I know we
my
have
shift
a lot
has started.
of, support from the community.
Now I
and
pause.
a lot of
So,
anticipation.
I'm paused.
But just to keep
I'm
in
now
mind,
losing
like,
money
I can't reiterate the sentiment
because
enough.
YouTube.
is that there's a
I'm
lot
not big
of
enough
great
on
people
YouTube to
this
get paid
project,
yet.
A lot of very talented individuals, and the one key component I think.
And I've
that
already
we
made
all share is
$54
we're
today.
very passionate about making
And I worked 4
a
hours.
quality game,
4 hours. I made
that lives up to the
$54.
expectations and the pride
That's
that
a
players
better
have within
day
this
recently.
genre.
That's a
And,
better day
we're
than
all
I've
NBA
had.
players. So it's a lot of hard work, a lot of
I mean,
long
do the
days,
math.
and
Yeah,
when we
baller.
can jump on and see your guys' support and your commentary and the motivation.
That's
to
$13.50
continue
per
these
hour,
forward. That means a lot to everybody on the team. And
not
I just
including
wanna thank
gas.
you guys for helping to
So I
foster
probably
a
spent
great community,
$5
because,
or
even at this
$10
stage
in
prior to
gas.
the game launching, right?
So
I
I'm
think
making
we've
maybe
built a great
$10 an hour.
community around this project.
Where minimum
And
wage
I
is
know that there's
$15
naysayers
an
out
hour.
there, and they've been slowly trickling in size down as we continue.
Oh,
to
it's
show
420.
progress and
Smoke 'em if
continue
you
to
got
show
'em.
the fruits of our
420,
labor.
everybody.
But you guys helping to provide that positive commentary. And
I should get like a
and
sound
that
effect for
support
that.
means the absolute world
I
to
don't
us,
smoke
and
pot,
we
but
really do
for those of you who
appreciate
do,
it. And when we
to
go
each
to bed
their
at
own,
night,
man.
at least I know for myself, when I go to bed at night and I'm playing on my phone.
If we go to bed at night.
If we go to bed at night,
Yeah.
and I'm playing on my phone and reading those, it is fuel, it is motivation. So I can't express enough that appreciation and hope you guys continue forward with that.
Yeah, and Stephen had a thread that he put up, and you all submitted a lot of beautiful words to our dev team. Almost, I think we sent our dev team, we're like, spend an hour, just read these comments from our players, and it warmed everyone's hearts and really like, you know, lit the motivation fire underneath all of us. I mean, we're already excited for ourselves. We want to create the product so we can play it, but it's really cool seeing that everyone else is just supporting us on that front. And
I think this is probably MMO 6 or 7 for me, but I think
yeah,
this,
it's like
this,
13
this
for me.
this particular project, I would say, this is the most passion I've seen since, say, a Request 1 when I was on that team. And there's an enormous amount of passion on this team to bring you guys the best possible experience we can.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And a lot of this is you guys helping educate people as well.
I liked him. He was a good personality. And, like I said, you can always tell when he got excited because his shoulders would wiggle.
And I think a lot of
you know, when he got really excited about something, he'd wiggle a little bit.
Helping inform people.
I always thought that was a neat characteristic.
You know,
that was something that
every month we put out stuff every day almost on our social platforms.
That was a really good tell.
If you want to forward them our way, we're continuing.
I bet he was a lot of fun in poker when because you know he'd have a really good hand.
At like this month versus last month versus last year, you can really see the difference in the progress.
No, and I think he had a lot of really good ideas.
Talking about progress, let's talk.
He had really good points of view. I mean, it's always sad when you see somebody leave.
Deployment and things like that.
But that's part of development. People come and go. You know, he's probably not. He's not the first person who's probably left the team, and he's not going to be the last.
And you wanted more of this, so here you go.
So yeah, it's an extremely important process. Like our builds take hours to compile the code, and then to package all the assets.
Since we're in a gathering of over 5, I should probably wear my mask.
System. So we're always looking to refine.
By the time I get you your masks there, Yoda, you're not gonna have to wear it anymore.
Straight up champion, who is.
I think I got black ones for you though.
With that and streamlined it, and we're going to be bringing on additional engineers to.
Really surprised they're not selling these. $20 a pop.
We do the integrations ourselves. Most of the
dual
time
layer.
It's Ash doing it. So it's a process that we keep refining. But
mind you, if you're wearing a cloth mask,
better and better,
you're actually increasing your odds of catching something.
Pushing forward and refining it as we go.
And if Ash gets sick,
that's why it's novelty only. For my giveaways, I have a white one to give away because I have this one, which I won't be giving to anybody because I took it out of the bag. But I do have one more white one I might give away at some point.
It's like, wow, Ash has really streamlined this. All I had to do was just log into the box and click this button. I was like, all right, cool.
Yeah, I think at like midnight that same evening, I had to go in and kill 2 of the processes that got on Windows Update or something. I don't know. Yeah. And then it was easy to restart the one of them. So getting better.
Well, like I said, I hope we see Jeff in game.
That's kind of a culmination of a lot of things regarding that. But I want to talk a little bit about.
He's part of the Intrepid family.
August, after
look at all those people running up there. That is awesome.
That you wanted to discuss.
Holy crap! What the heck?
In regards to what you.
Okay, we're gonna pause this. This is gonna go on forever. Jibble, what are you doing? Jibble is gifting 10 Tier 1 subs to Beck Altarr's community. They've gifted a total of 15 in the channel. So let's see. Turley the Giant 69 got one. Kaiser's here. Hello, Kaiser. Long time no see. So Sarcastic Kaiser's here. Halo there got one. We got Zariel J. Oh, Ornithosophilus is here. He got one. K Fizzle's here. They got one. Jenna Fleur, which is my iPad right here. It got one. And Core Code is here. What? Core Code wasn't already subbed? What's going on with that? Runacor got one, and Vroomsta is here. Oh, hello there, Vroomsta. Long time no see as well. Hope university's going well. For what people... Okay. Jibble, yep. For what people that are not bots. Yeah, very much appreciated. Yeah, truth comes out. Yeah, no, I definitely thank you so very much. And this is just going to go on and on. That's why we'll pause it. I think K-Fizzle's been subbed before. Ornithosophilus has been subbed before. And good to see he's around. Yeah, I think my iPad, which is my monitor, right? It's just, whoops. Right here. Yeah, I use that so I can read. I can read my chat sometimes. Though lately it hasn't been showing me all the chat. So, and I'm surprised Core Code wasn't already subscribed. So, okay, no, we're not done yet. Okay, so I need to pick a shorter sub notification. Something that, I mean, it's only, 5 seconds long or so. 1, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000, 4, 1,000, 5, 1,000, 6, 1,000, 7, 1,000, 8, 1,000, 9,000. So it's a 10 seconds-ish. 10 to 12 seconds. Just do a bell ring. Yeah, well, I think it was the last one. There, Bruce. So, Streamlabs, 6 times hearts. Yeah, no, we get, that's a hype train, right? Can we do... I don't think I have a hype train or anything. No, it's just so. Yeah. Thank you, Jibble, so very much. I really appreciate that. That's going to cover like an hour's worth of work I'm not making money doing. So I appreciate that. Wow. Yeah. Yes. Thank you. I am speechless once again. I do appreciate that.
You guys are going to be refocusing
So
your efforts.
get back
on
to
in
the stream.
regards to new systems.
Right. So our typical process after we get through a milestone is we're going to, the engineering team is going to work with Steven and production to figure out our overall goals for the next testing phase.
Oh wow, that's just.
And then based on.
And
that,
Vroomsta,
we're
I mean,
going
he
to
was a
put together
$500
all the
donator at
tasks,
one point.
and then we're going to.
I think he
give
donated
estimates
$500 or
on all of
$600
those
total.
engineering tasks
Last
as they
year.
apply to tools or
For sure.
game systems or
I
anything
mean, so
else
Vroomsta's was a big supporter. Ornithosophilus has been around for a long time.
After that is all been
Corco's family,
worked out
Yodamu's
and
family.
everyone's happy, then that's when production can
Sarcastic
make decisions
Kaiser.
on
Nice to
that
see
phase
him
will look like.
back around.
And that will also include the feedback from you all in regards to
You guys
that
are so
month-long
quiet, though.
test, as
Should've
well
let
as
me
all
know
of
that
the
you're
testing
here.
leading up to that month-long test and what bugs
It's
need
great
fixed,
having you guys
what,
around.
Issues pop up that we find out through that.
Yes, I
testing as
should
well,
find a
in
Viking
order
yell.
to meet those
What would a Viking
expectations.
yell sound like?
Steven,
Yeah,
go ahead.
just to give some additional context there.
Mead!
Like, when you think about all of the systems and design,
Maybe I'll have to look for like a Skyrim sound effect or something.
Alpha 1 predominantly and Alpha 2 are going to be the most influential testing phases for the project, right? After we kind of collect this data, after we get feedback and sentiment, and we experience this stuff from from
more mead wenches.
That's
with my oxhorn mug.
That's when we go back and we
from the Norse tradesman.
And that's
it's very
the
cool.
largest potential for changes can occur. So I want to make.
I just have to clean this, and I can actually use it.
That these are very important testing periods.
I could put
because
my Slurpee in here.
This is where changes occur, and we are very, as Margaret had said previously, we watch, read everything. Margaret and I watch. Read
yeah, Steven showed up in my chat here today, so
I'm like working and watching stuff and listening stuff in the background.
That's awesome.
My life is consumed by Ashes of Creation when I'm.
I think we've had Margaret in my channel. We've had Steven in the channel now.
The most crazy thing possible is where I was like working and typing on Slack and talking in TeamSpeak. I had 2 separate videos on YouTube playing simultaneously at different volumes, so I could try to pick out points in each. I know it was totally crazy. I know it's totally crazy. But there was just so much content coming off in that weekend because I released that verbal NDA, and there were so many people talking.
I watched so much stuff.
I wanted to, and then I was reading Discord at the same time. So it's like
I was like working out.
Well, I mean, you're going to do the Viking theme.
Videos like just crazy.
Yes, but again, that just goes to show the importance of these testing sessions and the people who are participating is that it does provide us valuable feedback, and we take that feedback, we internalize it, we digest it, and we
could do
come
this.
up with actionable items, from those things that we want to test then further.
And to be clear, on
what do you
the
think?
community side, when Toast is compiling,
we could do
things,
this.
Or our CS rep, Adam, or our social person, Peter, are kind of like putting these.
Can't quite wear the.
We just put what you guys say. Like,
wear the headphones, right?
We don't
but
give development.
Oh, I know what
on
you're
how to
saying.
fix it. That's their.
It's
like,
sexist
they
as hell.
decide how they want to resolve the issues.
But it's in
we
period.
Make it very clear, like here are the concerns of the community, and they can kind of take and analyze the data that they have that correlates to those things. I think you look like you wanted to say something extra, McP?
No, just that testing's invaluable, and I often will ask Steven if we can have.
What do you guys think about this look?
Additional testing.
Now I could go with like some earbuds instead of the headphones.
It just reveals new bugs or new issues, and we have to test all the fixes that we're trying to put in week after week after week to verify that we're giving you guys the best experience.
Yeah, Margaret,
wow, yeah, look at Steven just being dragged down and just constantly CC'd.
When I come to you and tell you I need a test in like 2 hours, and you're like, but I need at least 24 to notify players.
That's
I just like
McP's fault. That's not actually my fault. I actually am just the messenger, so don't kill me on it.
I don't tell you. It's more from my perspective. I just want to make sure.
Yes, this is an authentic Viking helmet.
Or I want to make sure like my kid is watched, right? Like
testers.
I'm compassionate about the people, and so I want to make sure they can play because like me and Sarah and maybe Peter sees it on social a little bit. We get to hear the other side.
Well, I do have a plastic helmet downstairs, the plastic helmet, Viking helmet.
So we hear that stuff, and we hear you.
I have one with the braids,
notified via email,
and then one without.
My goal is just to get McP.
It's for my photo booth.
And that's all I really have to worry about.
Me too.
I actually want to get an authentic, more authentic helmet done up.
Speaking of testing, I think this is a great segue.
Yeah, they're plastic. They're cheap. They're like, from that like special Halloween store that shows up, for like 3 months.
He says, "Hail and well met, glorious Ashes of Creation testers. My name is Sean Ferens.
Oh, here's the letter.
Not him, but you get where I'm going with this.
This thing's really uncomfortable though.
I am the manager of quality assurance on Ashes of Creation.
I have a divot in my forehead now.
QA team, I would like to extend a deep and heartfelt thank you to everyone who participated in testing Ashes of Creation during the weekend of May 14th through May 16th for our Alpha 1 build. In spite of instability and uncertainty, you have all proven to be invaluable in regards to your feedback and bug reports, and for that, I cannot express my gratitude enough. As many of you know, developing an MMORPG is an epic endeavor that is filled with trials and tribulations that no other kind of game will ever encounter. And you've illustrated dedication, or your illustrated dedication has proven to our team that we are on a high road to the best MMORPG gaming experience to date. During this most recent testing period, we received over 2,600 bug reports, which have been an absolute boon to our testing process.
I know I put in a couple myself.
Review each report individually, and I continue to be impressed with how detailed and helpful each of these reports has been. Like seriously, you guys give repro steps and everything super duper handy. I greatly look forward to your feedback in the future and hope you enjoy our content so far. So thank you so much, everybody. I know I almost said 26,000. That would have been a lot of bugs.
Yeah, holy.
Note that those 2,600, a lot of them were repeats. Most of them were stuff that we were already on our known issues list or things that QA was aware of, but there were quite a few that we had not caught before, so really appreciate it.
And before we move on to the art side of things, I just want to reiterate something, and I know, there's several thousand of you watching at the moment. But, when people say, when's the game done? When's the game done? I want to play. It's important to remember that MMOs typically only have, one launch attempt, unless you're Final Fantasy, right?
Yeah.
So,
Or Star Wars
we wanna make sure
Galaxies.
we get it right, and we want to make sure that we are
Or WoW.
launching the game when it's ready. per
Because
se.
WoW is
These
relaunched with
tests go
Classic.
to that end, right? This is what helps us get there. But keep in mind, again, our foremost thought here is quality, and what that means is
Don't
we're gonna
rush
spend
it.
the time that's necessary. So we'll
Yep.
keep you abreast of all the changes. And
If
the
you need
updates
to
with every
delay,
monthly,
delay.
live stream that we do, and you'll see the process part of.
Nobody should get angry if they delay right now.
It's going to be a magnificent and glorious event, but patience is key, and it's what's that old saying about patience and fruit and ripe and. I
Oh yeah,
don't know.
there will be more
Patience
delays.
is, I don't remember what the thing is, but regardless,
There's a lot of different types of patience.
it's fruit. It's
Yeah.
fruit is sweet.
And it's better
Patience
to
is bitter, but
it's
fruit is
better
sweet.
to delay
That's what it
now
is.
and catch the bugs
that's
and
an
fix
important thing
them
to
now
keep in mind.
than try to
So,
do it after launch or
Awesome.
have a launch
Also,
day
just wanted to say
patch
thank you
that's
so
as
much,
big as
Sean
the
and
original
QA team.
install.
You are all absolute beasts.
Unbelievable
And
beasts.
Very, very hardworking. And
You know, this
that's
might actually
where
keep the
the
Slurpee colder
engineering
longer
team is
too,
able to-
because it
to
creates
really
a
go
seal.
to and for its information on what
inside
needs to
the,
be fixed and
it'll
how to
actually
fix it.
be like a fridge.
Absolutely.
Thanks to all the testers for submitting thousands of bugs and making me miserable.
Kevin, I love you.
Yeah, the QA team is unbelievable. Very well done job.
Yeah,
Very
they're even
hardworking,
assisting with
very
web QA too, which is a whole other feat. That's like account process stuff, which is insane. Let's move on to our art stuff. I'm excited. There's lots of cool stuff.
We may have to limit some of the questions, by the way, at the end.
And we have
Down to a few because
we got
We're getting long.
a raid coming in, everybody. Let's see, we have the Viking Slurpee mug, exactly. I don't even know how to pronounce that. Gradenzo is raiding with a party of 15. I think I have another defense one here too, don't I? I don't know. I don't remember all my commands, to be honest. There we go. Wood at my service. Grod. Oh, welcome, Wood Guild. Oh yeah, I remember seeing the Wood Guild in game. I remember seeing you guys. Yeah, I do. I do remember seeing a lot of wood in game. Yeah, they're some, it must be a high fiber guild. And Lensler, thank you much for the follow. So yeah, they're raid incoming, everybody. I don't have adequate raid defenses because I don't get raided very often. So thank you guys very much, and welcome to the stream.
Hard stop a little bit.
Yeah, I have a meeting. Oh, really? Okay.
It's almost 1 p.m. now.
Let's go quick.
They still
so
have
first and
a few
foremost,
minutes
we
left
have,
in this
some
thing.
concept art here that looks really cool.
Oh, I like
Again,
those
we're
plants.
Showing off a lot of these
Like a little shop of horrors.
creatures, the plants coming to life and things like that.
That'd be cool.
You might have seen some plants previously that were created. In,
So like I was
other
saying,
development updates,
earlier, actually, I want to go back to that picture they just showed here. Because like I said, I have screenshots. I just can't share them. But like this view, although this is more of an artist's rendering, when I was standing on top of a mountain, it almost looked like that. It almost did. Like that, like the only other game that comes close to where you can get up on a vista, like on top of a mountain or a hill, and see into the distance, that I've experienced recently is Red Dead Redemption online, right? Red Dead Online, and you can, it looks pretty good, right? But it gets really foggy, really hazy. Where with Ashes, you can be on a mountain, and it looks like that, like it. You can see that kind of detail like across the map. Like that was stunning to see that visualization in game. That was just so cool. I actually took screenshots of a panoramic view all the way around, and if I could share those pictures, I would, and hopefully once the NDA is lifted, because it doesn't show anything gameplay, it doesn't show anything It just shows, I think, me and Jibble on top of a mountain. Uh, just looking at like the snow peaks on one side. And it's like, okay, I live in Alberta. I'm literally an hour away from the mountains, right? You could go to, what would be a good example? If you go to Calgary, which is an hour and a half south of me, you go to the Calgary Tower, and if you're at the top of the tower, you can see the mountains in the distance. And it almost looks the same in game. Like it's like the photorealism, I guess, is very impressive. Very impressive. Okay, we got some new follows. Kupasu, Sophia Butterfly. Thank you guys very much for the follow. It's really appreciated. When India left, yeah, exactly. Yeah, take people there, exactly. So yeah, no, thank you guys for all the new follows. I appreciate it.
So keep an eye out for those.
I do mostly
This is the
reaction
gorgeous
videos, and then
landscapes of,
when we
different
can
areas,
play
which
in the
is
tests,
beautiful.
I just
We'll
play
move on to the
screenshots
next
and then
one.
just kind of talk about what we're doing.
So
So yeah, there's a little shop of horror plants
well
again.
finished. I mean,
What if it's going to
very,
come with a musical?
these look amazing.
Yeah, our team, we'll say it like a million times, they're amazing. The next thing here is the Dunir Crypt. Now you guys have been seeing
Dunir.
pieces and objects, and I will show
Dunir
some more of
here.
the objects that are in more of a like their work in progress states, but you've seen some of
All
them
about the
previously as
Dunir
well,
here.
and now you're going to continue to see the progress of them.
The
I like to try to
woodcast.
show you like the different elements
Oh, were you guys whittling away on a topic?
as they add more textures to stuff, as they implement them in games, so you can see the progress along the way. But now you're seeing this in game and what these look like there.
Yeah, the environment team always does a great job bringing to life the concepts that Ryan Richmond and his concept crew.
I love the
put
Dunir
together.
artwork.
The-
I
really
like
do a
that.
great
It's like a
job on modeling these
futuristic
assets and building a world around
look
them to
because
make
it's
them
so angular
compelling
with
and
the
immersive.
runes
It's
and
really
everything.
good,
It
such an
looks like something you'd
amazing
almost
art
see
team.
in like an Egyptian
And
or ancient
obviously the
civilization,
crypt
where
is
it's
gonna be
like,
telling its own little
did they
tale,
have
as you can
technology more
probably see
advanced than
these
we do?
different
Like, were
dwarven,
aliens
very
involved?
Dwarven, Dunir, dwarven,
So I really
style,
like their artwork. I really
um,
like their
I guess
style.
architecture?
I really like their
Yeah,
architecture.
absolutely.
Yeah, carpentry in some of these cases. And then beyond that, I think I still have a couple more in this.
So yeah, I really like the
So-
Dunir stuff.
Oh,
I
I
love
could
it.
see this chest. Like, don't you just want to grab it? But then it's probably gonna
Oh,
like
yeah.
you pull it off and then something.
Well, it
gets
looks like
out.
this
Nick,
middle
that
piece
piece.
might sink down into the pillar, so
Dude,
there might be a
mimics?
little
Yeah,
t-
they're scary,
Better
man.
make sure you have some universal solvent.
looks like there might be some
Poison dart traps.
There you go.
traps
And
in
a
there
bathtub,
maybe.
You know, you need your fancy bathtub to chill and relax in your
That is a
freehold
fancy
after all that fighting.
bathtub.
Right?
I can't wait to have this be an interactable bathtub that the player can
Lounge in.
use E to like play an animation and get into the tub.
See,
and turn the water
the
on.
thing is, right? Like looking at a lot of this artwork, like it is so detailed that people with far more talent than myself, I think, are going to be able to reproduce this stuff. Like I could see like this dresser here,
It'd be awesome.
right? I could see somebody actually making this. I could see somebody actually producing this in real life, because it's ornate, but it's not built impossibly. Like there's a lot of games where they come up with these designs that are just impossible to create yourself. You know, like in the real world, they're really not functionable. There really isn't a way to make it happen. But this is very reminiscent of Renaissance or 1800s, early 1900s kind of stuff. I can see somebody
I'm excited for
actually
freehold
making
stuff.
this.
I know people do crazy things, and I'm excited to see what you as players do with them.
That's
This is
definitely an
I think
interesting
this is the
carpet.
last one. Our next one is Siege, which you all have kind of seen, but obviously from the artist perspective, they're making sure all
Whip
the
Castle?
textures look beautiful, and so
Yeah,
they've
got
been
all the
retexturing a lot of
runes.
the objects because some of those were older objects when we were working on Castle Siege through Apocalypse's testing ground, and now we're kind of updating those objects, but still using the same things. So a lot of those things are kind of transferring over, as Stephen and McP stated.
I love how when I have meetings with the art teams, and I remember very
Definitely a
vividly,
Dunir
like this was
Castle.
3 weeks ago. I'm sitting with Bacon and Mia and Tristan, and I'm talking to them. I'm like, really not liking the way this castle's looking. Maybe you guys can do a pass on it. And Beck's like, yep, we'll grab it. And then 2 weeks later, I look and I'm like, oh my God, what did you do? This looks so good. Thank God.
This looks like something you'd
They're
see in
so
Valheim.
talented. And the great thing is, like, because we've been working together and they kind of
It really looks like
established
something you could almost see in
obviously the art style
Valheim.
of the world. You just kind of see these things
Man,
start
look, I
coming
mean, look at
together.
the
I know early on
detail,
we
like
got a
the
lot of
attention to
commentary about,
detail,
like,
like
things
the
kinda feel out of
minutia
place, and we
is
kinda had
very
multiple directions
impressive.
on, how we wanted to do materials and textures, all that kind of stuff.
Because it's
And
not
now just watching
it's not
these
trying to be
environments in the world,
photorealistic,
these props, these
but
architectural
it still
assets,
looks
they just are
legitimate.
starting to blend so well and creating a really cool immersive vibe. This mood. Significantly,
I love the artwork of this game.
with the starting area.
I've always been
in the
impressed
alpha.
with
It's
the
just really
artwork,
come together. They
with
do
the
such
look.
a great job.
Always
and
been
you've gotten to see
impressed.
the mood in the Goblin Camp that I showed there,
And the
now
art team
this in
is
the graveyard. Perfect
you know,
transition.
always done an excellent job, in my
The vibe
opinion.
of the fog kind of coming through is very interesting and kind of catches your eye, and obviously all the architecture that's happening in all of these areas.
I got to remove that one.
The last one here is
Suppose
gonna
really
be
there's
the
a
corrupted
new
mushroom
round of
stuff, which you've kinda seen
DMCAs
some
coming
of
through
it when
Twitch.
like a couple, maybe like 2 months ago or
remove
something
that
like that, we
timer.
showed off some corrupted area, but now you're really seeing how it just keeps, they keep adding more stuff
There,
to
take
it,
that
man.
one
It
out.
just keeps looking better.
Once they get
better,
Phoenix
better.
Radio going,
Gonna
I
move on
remember I
to
was
our
talking.
officially,
Sorry, I remember I was
Go
talking
ahead.
about these mushrooms to Mia and Bacon.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like,
then it'll
"They
all
make these,
be
like, super
DMCA
corrupt and,
free
like, deformed
music.
and decrepit and like heavy red influences." And Mia was like, "Yeah, I can do that."
I love Mia.
Oh, I know.
And then of course we
That's a nice
have,
crown.
more character stuff. So the first thing here is the Kalar crown. Stephen, do you know what this was made for? This gorgeous crown.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that will actually be the control
Oh,
point.
got a
to
lion
capture
on there.
The castle is that crown that sits atop the throne. So you may have seen it in the video. It was kind of sitting there on the cushion of the throne, or I don't know if there's a cushion per se.
What if that's a
But the
reference
idea
for
here is
Narnia?
that, when castle sieges
Oh,
are in
what
their
was
kind of
what was the
full
lion's
implementation
name in Narnia?
This will actually be a
Oh, and I know
skin
it too.
that the
I know it.
player who owns
Oh.
the castle when they succeed, not in Alpha 1, but eventually,
So,
who
like,
owns a castle, they'll
it's
be
there.
able to apply this skin temporarily while they own that castle to their helmet and can wear the crown walking around. So
You'll be royalty, and you
will
can
be
get
royalty,
flying mounts
exactly.
and all kinds of stuff.
Yes.
I'm excited to see that. I love the idea of, you see like someone.
Was that a
finally, like,
goblin
you know
camp?
that's somebody important. Like that's so cool.
I never found a goblin camp.
and
I
of
only
course,
explored about half, maybe not
this
even
is being
half the
event,
map
there may
so
be,
far.
You know, some other
Oh,
crowns out there.
It takes a long time to get across that alpha map. Like it's a long time.
Creation. Each will have its own distinct crown.
Next up, we have some really cool hairstyles that, of course, Stephen has leaked a couple if you've been paying attention to our social channels or Discord or
Yes.
other places.
Yeah, Wednesday
You
I might
guys
have
will
to take some
see
time
as,
off.
We
Like I
kinda
said,
show
I'm
you
so
these
close
updates
to
the
finishing
character side that-
I'm so close to finishing the build on my new computer. Aslan, thank you. Aslan, yeah, that's what I was thinking. Kind of reference to maybe Aslan. But you know, like I said, because I'm so close to building my computer. Because like I said, I got the Dark Hero I got the motherboard now. I got the C drive. I just need the case, the power supply, and the RAM. Are the major components that I need. I could use the power supply in another computer temporarily because it would be underpowered for long-term use, but I could use it long enough to power it up, and I can take the video card out of this computer and put it in the new one because this computer does have an onboard video card. So really all I need is RAM, and I could at least install an operating system. But I also have to get a road case, or a case, not a road case, but a case for it. But I'm so close. But it's just finding a video card and then just affording the RAM. Because the RAM, like I said, it's going to be $500 for, I think, 64 gigabytes of RAM for it. So I want to do at least 64. It'll do 128. So I want to get two 32 sticks initially. and it'll run off of that.
character
So I'm
team,
working as much as I
Chris
can.
Atkins and Jinsey and Danny and
But like I am
Eli
not,
and Manny,
unfortunately, making a lot of money.
they're
Like I made
Carson, they're doing
$200
an
this
amazing
entire week,
job,
and my week
really
ends on
moving
Sunday.
forward kind of the details of the
So
characters,
I might make
and,
$300 by
you
the
know,
end of the
you're
week.
starting to see that what that quality is going to be like. I mean, this is kind of like I would say probably the third pass on characters overall.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so
a
it's
lot of times people
that's
ask,
why I
"Well,
haven't
why
been
don't you
streaming
do
as
other
much
races and
because
stuff?"
I'll be honest, the streaming.
We want to establish kind of the quality.
I'm
bar
doing
and
okay.
process with these races first.
I'm making
And
about
then when we move
$100 every
into
3
further
months
content
streaming
production
on
for the other
average.
races, right? We kind of have those pipelines in place.
So I
and
mean
we
that's
have,
definitely helping.
The processes in place, and we
But
know how to approach them.
I don't
So,
beg
you're
for
starting
money
to
on
see
here like
that,
some people.
That
I just
quality here
appreciate it
rise to
when
the
it's
point where we want
contributed.
it to be, and they're doing a really just amazing job. The character team and the animation team. I mean, you'll see over time just how our animations are constantly getting more in depth and improved.
I live
and,
very cheaply,
fluid
so.
and Chris Myers and Minnie McPhee, or Alex McPhee's son, actually, is one of our animators.
We call him Minnie McPhee.
Very talented animator, along with Jessica.
He's hilarious.
And Brad. There's just such talent on the art side, and it's great seeing them bring to life these creatures, these characters, this world in a fluid way.
I'm
trying.
And this is,
yeah,
if you guys have seen
I'm
the
hoping to
Corporate
earn it.
Castigator, these are some variants of it that you may see on other NPCs and stuff like that in the world.
I'm here to have fun. This is my hobby.
Much like if you've seen the marine
and I hope people have fun with me.
that we've had
and
for
have
like
great
our November
conversations.
set. This is like a green version of that you'll see. Maybe
That's a
on
really
some
nice
NPCs as
ranger-looking
well.
outfit.
And there's a couple things that I missed. I'm actually going to grab them. We're going to do it live. It's going to probably look weird, but
doing it live.
This, the face of sorrow.
Look at that.
We
That is
definitely had
cool.
some folks wanting to see the particle effects. So,
Why does that remind
not
me of New
completely
World?
Finished, but,
Kind of reminds me of New World.
Not finished, but important note
Like
here
the first
is,
boss you fight in
we
New World, like
released,
part of the
the
tutorial
earlier
guy.
version of the,
Kind of reminds me of him.
the Sorrow set, and we got some good feedback.
That looks really good,
though. Bringing it back in line with the original concept, and Atkins, I believe.
Very spiky armor.
And I'm not sure. I think it might have been Danny. Took a pass on it.
This guy looks quite horny.
We also had Jim incorporate some of the intended effects.
I guess you
for
maybe
the set,
call it more
so you
thorny.
guys can see that.
Yeah, more like thorns.
Yeah. And with that, we are going to head on to Q&A because I know Stephen has to get going, but I'll play this video in the background whilst we chat. I'm going to kind of move it towards some of the combat so you can see that whilst we're chatting.
Hey, if you're not here
But
for the
I'll try
good
to get
looks,
through as
maybe
many
you'll
of these
come
as
for
we
the humor.
can, and Stephen, you just tell me when you need to snip it. So our first one here is from Alandria's Half Tilt Gamer, and this is on the forums. They want to know
Half Tilt's a nice
about
guy.
death
I
penalties.
follow him on Twitter.
How will incurred death penalties?
Follow me on Twitter too, Beck Altarr. You're
going
gonna get a mix of politics and streaming stuff.
Yeah, so I mean,
or Instagram, beckaltar.ttv.
With regards to at least
oh,
death,
still
right?
waiting on humor.
When you're dying and you're accruing this experience debt over time, it is going
you're killing me. You're killing
build
me.
up, essentially, and it'll take larger chunks of percentage at lower level. And when you hit kind of max level, it's going to accrue. I think it's like 3% total level. Or maybe it's 2% total level. But as we kind of run per death, as we kind of run through testing and we play with these numbers,
that
like
death
right
penalty
now,
definitely needs to get sorted.
We're going to change those things probably in the next week or two. And if we don't get it into a spot that we like, we'll disable it at least for the test, I would say.
I've seen somebody with like 3,100% death penalty.
Testing, we kind of see how these things
It's
play
like,
out,
holy.
how they feel, and we adjust it as necessary.
I think there should be a cap on your
next
death
one
penalty.
Did you have something else to add?
No.
Okay.
I think we can probably take 2 more questions.
2 more. All right. The next question
so pick
here.
the best ones.
Oh, that's gonna be okay. Ships, because I know people like to hear about ship stuff. Pete Nasty wants to know:
Make it a
will
DLC.
Ships have similar permissions structures to freeholds, where others can summon them if the owner of the ship is offline?
No, ships are completely owned by the person who who has
Oh, that's
in their
good. Oh, yeah, 'cause
inventory,
they wiped.
and they can only be summoned by that individual. There are functions that exist on the ship that players can participate in. You can restrict those functions based on whether or not the players who are attempting to access it are in your party or in your raid.
That's good.
Such as weapons, anchors.
That sounds reasonable
utility
as far as the
items,
ships go. I think the ship should be a
the
DLC.
ability to access the
I
helm.
don't think we need to worry about the ships
and
being at
navigate the
launch.
ship. Those things can be permissioned, yes.
All right. And then our next question is from Lashing about item syncs. Are there any involuntary item syncs planned for gear, since over-enchanting and deconstructing items are both by player choice?
Involuntary, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
the first part of that was?
Involuntary
Well, 'cause he
item
knows where
syncs
the question's going to go,
planned
right?
for gear.
Yes, there are. If you're corrupt and you die, you
Yes,
can
I mean,
lose
Steven is
gear.
definitely a player.
And
I mean, if there's one thing, and I don't mean player in like the player sense of the word, but I definitely get the vibe that Steven is coming at this from the point of view of a player. He's not coming from it necessarily from the point of view as an engineer or developer, right? Like he's looking at it from, this is the player experience. How do we engineer and develop the game around this experience? Whereas a lot of MMOs lately, at least in my experience, really seem to feel like they come from an engineer or designer's point of view where, yes, this looks and or feels kind of neat, but functionally, it's either immersion breaking, game breaking. It at the end of the day, just it doesn't maybe fit a quality of life kind of situation. So there's one thing I think we can definitely appreciate when it comes to Steven's take on things is that he really does look at it from what is the player's quality of life first? Is this going to be fun? And is it not only going to be fun the first time, but how do we make it repeatable so that there's enough nuance that you have a good potential of experiencing something a little different each time you do it. Whereas if you get a game that's designed to be very functional, or has like, again, a lot of engineers are very focused on what they want, it becomes very mechanical, then you often lose that replayability. It can get kind of boring or monotonous, and then that's where you lose interest of the player. And so that's why I really like Steven's take on things. Let's see, Yodamu, she's are always fun in games, but definitely not needed. Oh, ships. Yeah, well, I think because the ships is it's going to be a very large part of the game. And I'm thinking, if you think about the timeline, we're coming to Vera, we're returning to Vera from Sanctus. Nobody's building ships day one, right? So I think you could do 6 months to 6 to 8 months after launch, your first DLC is ships, right? Because it's going to take time for the players in a role play sense. It's going to take players months to, create, to build up nodes, to create towns, to create metropolises. It'll probably take 6 months. So what I would almost suggest is actually have like a secret achievement where the ship's DLC gets added to the game when the first metropolis next to an ocean or a harbor is built, is created. Or a node next to the ocean or whatnot is created. Once that happens, it's like, okay, we're going to be dropping our first DLC in 30 days, right? Because you have 60 days or so before you can siege a brand new metropolis. I think they said it's 60 days or something like that. That's how I would do it, because ships is going to be a lot. I mean, it's going to be very complex, because not only are you transporting goods, you're transporting people, you have naval combat, There's a lot that goes into it. The ships almost becomes its own mini game, and you have different kinds of ships, different varieties of ships. So I think if they make the ships a DLC, bring it in a little later. Yes, some people will be disappointed, but I think there are very good, legitimate role play reasons and quality of life reasons, because the game's going to launch. You're going to have the first month kind of doing little hot fixes and stuff. There's always little things that get missed, and then it gives you a couple more months after the game is launched and it's stable for you to then go and start polishing your ships. You can you can finish your water physics if you haven't quite tweaked them well enough, and it doesn't have to come across as a launch day patch or anything like that. And you can kind of focus more on the core game, and then bring in the ships when it actually makes more sense in the storyline. And yeah, that is going to mean that some of us are going to be limited to our continent at the start. But I think, again, it makes sense. So that's personally how I would think about doing it. And then they're not diverging resources in that direction, at the potential detriment of other aspects of the game. You kind of want all hands on deck for the core functionalities and stuff like that. Just my opinion. It's some people I'm sure may agree, and I'm sure there's people out there that will disagree. What do you think? What are your thoughts? How do you think that should roll out?
And
like some games have like repairing armor.
there's
and armor can break.
Well, I wouldn't necessarily consider it per se a sink, because you're not losing the item exactly, even if it decays, but the components necessary to repair the item aren't just going to be a simple gold sink like many of us have experienced. That becomes relatively irrelevant over time.
Oh, you can see I didn't notice that before. You can see the ballista shots. That's really cool.
And then additionally, there might be added constraints.
It looks like they're kind of cutting out though, like they're kind of disappearing. The trails
repairs
don't persist.
Items as well.
That's still really cool.
As I said, we'll be testing that as well.
I kind of have Steven's problem. I cough randomly too.
Again, a necessary economic demand for particular types of materials and components, and that also feeds into the deconstruction loop as well.
All right. Hopefully that answered your question, buddy. But with that, we are going to kind of wrap up our May development update. Thank you so much for tuning in. I know it was a longer one. And of course, a reminder that the June cosmetics will be swapping over.
I would say though this one probably had the most meat in it in a very long time.
It'll just be a new cosmetic set with it on June 9th. And then of course, our next playtest, if you have Alpha 1 access, is June 2nd. You can see the pinned post on our support Twitter that will give you information on how to join, or you might have gotten an email. It's on the forums in a secret place as well as on the Discord. So if you have Alpha 1 access, you should be able to get access to all of those places and find the secret NDA areas where we'll give you more information. We try to keep you up to date as much as possible, and even with the server, when they're going up and when they're going down. So with that,
yeah, they have great conversation.
Do you guys have anything else you want to add? And of course,
they keep getting longer.
So much for joining us. We really appreciate it.
Thanks to everyone for the awesome testing.
Absolutely,
love it.
I know people really wanted to hear kind of more of that behind the scenes stuff, and hopefully they liked it. Even though Steven's like, this is kind of a boring topic.
No. It was good.
All right. Well, we'll see you later. If you are just tuning in now, we will have this on our Twitch as well as over on our.
Okay, so we'll just kind of nix that there because it's just basically just going to go through their final goodbyes. So, So I would honestly say out of all of the dev updates in recent months, this one probably had some of the most meat in it. We got to see sieges, which is a major component of the game, because you're going to have the castle sieges with the guild castles. You're going to have the sieges between node sieges, and there's a component, I'm sure, with the caravans, right, with attacking caravans and stuff like that. So again, really good meaty content here. It was really great to see that even Steven's running with a 1080 Ti, and there's almost no noticeable lag. Looks like the particle effects are great. You get lots of people, like 200 people on screen there, and it looked like everybody's models remain consistent. A lot of games, what'll happen is when you get a lot of people in the same area, the character models will just go to default. That did not appear to be happening in this situation. So it was great to actually see a major core feature that we'll hopefully be testing very shortly. So I really like that. Steven popped in earlier because I thought he was running like a 3080. And I was like, well, of course it's going to look like that. I mean, here I'm with a 980. I mean, am I going to be able to do this? And he's like, nope, I'm a 1080. And so, I stand corrected, Mr. Steven. And, and that is even more impressive. That, really shows that Ashes is a game that upon release, after, all the expected optimizations, almost anybody should be able to play this. And yet it looks amazing. Just if you're not already in the alpha, it looks great. What you see in their videos is pretty true. Like you can see in the distance, and in fact, it doesn't do it justice. I mean, it looks better on the video than what it looks like on my screen, because I'm not streaming at 4K or anything. But when you're in the game and you can just look across the map, and I mean, it looks so good. Some of the mobs weren't aggroing properly. Some of the cats and the lizards. So you can actually walk up to the mob that normally would be chewing your face off, and actually like zoom in and actually look at the detail in the character models, and it is phenomenal. It is so impressive. I still think that some of their known issues are still pre-alpha. I mean, there's a handful of those. So I would say, again, my opinion hasn't changed. I still don't think this is alpha 1 ready. I think it's still an alpha 0 state. I do predict more delays. That's normal. I'm not saying anything negative about the game. Development is a process. And the fact that they are taking an engine, Unreal Engine, which was never designed for an MMO, and they are attaching a lot of customized code and customized engines, and they're having little issues and stuff like that. Yeah, like I said, some of them, they just stand there, right? They'll just look around. They'll do their little animation. But, it's definitely in a alpha state. But I mean, when I think about an alpha 1, alpha 2, then going into beta, I'm thinking about what would you have ready or done? And, I do feel that they're kind of moving ahead of maybe their comfort zone in that bit because of the European Union, their consumer protection laws when it comes to stuff like this. I mean, you look at what CD Projekt Red has been going through with Cyberpunk. They do hold accountable studios, and they've been saying we're going to do our alpha this fall for like 4 years. So I understand that they're probably like we got to shit or get off the pot. So I do appreciate that they are moving forward. And again, I'm not taking anything away from the development because there are aspects of this that I would say are beta ready. I'd say a lot of the graphical elements and design, I'd say it's very, very close to a beta ready state. There are other things where, you think you'd be able to jump on top of a box or a barrel. You can't. You run along a path and there's a pebble in the road and you stop dead. There's little things like that. There's floating barrels and you have the road floats in some places. There's little things. These are things that, usually you take care of in an early alpha or pre-alpha state. But I mean, there's nothing that I've found game breaking and I've not fallen through the world. I know the last test you logged in, you could fall through the world, but normally, like, you can pixel jump, or you find where two different models will come together, and sometimes there's a crack, you can fall through. I haven't found anything like that. You can run up, in some places, you can run up a sheer face of a mountain, where in other places it's a little hill, and your character can't do it, right? So stuff like that, they need, obviously needs a little work, needs a little tweaking. But that being said, I wouldn't have gotten the fantastic views that I did get if I couldn't run up a sheer rock. And it looks very detailed. It looks like it should be all craggy and stuff. But when you're running up it, it's almost perfectly smooth, which is kind of interesting because you kind of float above a little bit of that. But, that's just normal. That's just part of the process. I'm probably doing stuff they're not expecting people to do. And that's the whole part of an alpha test, is you want to do things that aren't expected. You want to try and climb things. You want to try and pixel jump. You want to say, hey, here's this, like there's a lot of broken rock and crumbling rock that you would expect that you could jump up. I don't know if that's intentional, that you can't. I think you probably should. If it has that much detail, then I would think that, if it looks like you could jump up something detail-wise, then you probably should be able to do that. The only really two things I found annoying, and these are quality of life, these are things they can fix later, don't worry about it right now, is the dwarf front flip every time you jump. No. Dwarves are not Cirque du Soleil. Dwarves are not acrobatic. Dwarves are very thick, very heavy, very dense. They would not be able to physically do that. If you want the front flip, I think it should be like a 1 in 10, right? It should be random. It should be a novelty, but every time it does it, it's just, for me, I found it very, very immersion breaking. So that one little annoyance. And the other one that apparently they fixed is every time you use the attack, you have this big purple grinder splash, right? If you ever take a grinder to some metal, you get that big wave of sparks, and they were purple. Apparently they've toned that down, which is great, because it was a little, I play on a 49-inch screen or 47-inch screen. It's just a regular TV. And so that was a lot of purple. It's a lot. It's like I was murdering Barney or something. Or Grimace. But really, I can't say that there is a real complaint about anything that they're doing. And they are going through the development process, and they're taking their time, and they're delaying when they need to delay. I don't think they really need to give us excuses. There's going to be delays. Every time they update the Unreal Engine, I expect it's going to break something else, because you have the Unreal Engine and they have all the engine parts that they're putting together to attach to that. And sometimes those connections break. Hopefully they're learning to make those connections maybe more flexible or malleable. It definitely seems like with the last update that they did, it didn't set them back quite so much. If you go back to the July dev update, at the end of it, Margaret's like, get those NDA things in, because we want to get, alpha, the alpha stuff going here for like the end of August. And of course, the end of August comes in, and there's like no mention of that whatsoever. It was, we're delaying. So they were really optimistic. Obviously, it was a pretty bad bunch of bugs or flaws that happened when they updated Unreal Engine. I think it was from 4.23 to 4.25 or something. They updated two versions, and I'm guessing it probably broke a lot of stuff, and that's to be expected, right? Like, they're not creating the Unreal Engine, so it's not like they can build into their code protections against whatever Unreal does to their engine. So you can't give them any grief for that. And I think they've communicated reasonably well. I would say their communication is far better with people in the alpha, from what I've witnessed, since I've gotten the alpha one, than people who are outside of the alpha. So if you're outside looking in, I don't think you're getting the level of communication that perhaps they allude to. It's still there, but I think there's a level of communication that's not quite getting put out there. Where I look at the Alpha one communication in the Discord and stuff, and far more communication, far more open with it, and I understand why, right? I mean, I get NDAs. I signed NDAs for games that never made it to market that I'm probably still technically under. Auto Assault being one of them from Net Devil, and that was a game. Oh, I wish that one made it to market. Let me tell you, that Twisted Metal is my game, franchise of choice. So anyways, yeah, so I'm going to play you guys one more commercial from my Phoenix radio, which is hopefully going to be an online radio for Ashes of Creation. It'll play fake commercials that are based in game. I want to promote guilds, can do guild recruitment or promotions. It's going to be for community by community if you missed the opening, where you are, you guys can help. You can voice. I want to have radio dramas. I want to tell stories within the world. I'm already writing some scripts that are based on Sanctus before the portals open. Just kind of like what is your character's life like on Sanctus, where you have no magic, you're just a regular Joe Blow. Who are you? Are you a guard for the local baron? Are you a farmer? Are you a pickpocket? Do you run a business? Stuff like that, right? What's your day to day? And what are your beliefs, right? Obviously, there's the old gods, from the corruption days and the portal opening and that story, but it's been tens of thousands of years. Look at the story of the Bible. Look at Judaism, Islam, Catholicism. How much has that evolved over 2,000 years from what was maybe an original text, and how much interpretation has been put into those core religions. Look at how much has Buddhism changed. So imagine that over the course of thousands of years, right? And just how many sects would diverge from that, right? We have Protestants and Catholics and all of these different sects of each different kind of religion. Well, that would continue on Sanctus as well. So everybody's going to believe something a little different about the old stories. What do you believe? And of course, some will be closer to the truth than not. But nobody really knows, right? You just have faith that what you believe is just the way it is. And that's kind of how I want to try and come at it is in my stories. Is that some people are closer than others. There could be cults that are closer to what is true, where you have the mainstream religion that could be completely off the books. When the portals open, who gets to go through the portal? Obviously, somebody's going to control the portal, a local baron or a king or something like that. So you're going to have guards at the portal. Well, people are going to be, I'm sure, pushed through the portal because they're criminals and murderers, perhaps, right? They're going to get the Australian treatment. So because you send somebody through, right? The first thing that's going to go through is an expedition, but then they're going to realize nothing can come back from the portal. And then so people are going to be like, okay, well, nothing's coming back. We don't know what's on the other side. Are they alive? Are they dead? We don't know. We've sent a controlling force ahead, so perhaps they're there and they're alive. But since we don't know there's anyone there, maybe we start throwing some riffraff through there, right? Undesirables. Or perhaps you are a pickpocket or a criminal. Or perhaps your character was sleeping with the wrong person and got busted. And, your head is on the rack kind of thing. So you need to escape. So you think, hey, you know what? My best chance is to go through the portal. So you sneak through the portal. What's your story? How did you get to Vera? And this is where I want to create radio dramas that will allow you to do that. And my rule is, if your character is named in a story, you get to voice it, or you get to choose somebody who you get to choose somebody to voice your character if you have a friend or somebody that you think sounds a little better. Are you just describing PoE characters? Well, for radio dramas, yes. Yeah, for the radio dramas, I want it to be from the point of view of the character. So there's no omniscient point of view, right? There's no godlike overview. So, for example, let's see, what do I have here? Because I have one script I'm working. Oh, that's an ad script. I'm working on where the people have gotten some. Here we go. Dramas. No, that's Pug's voice there. Where's the drama here? And their character. Oh, sorry. Let's see. No, that's not showing up on my. Their character backgrounds include most of what you have said. Yeah, like you get to create your own. You get to create your own character. So for an example, here I'll show you guys. Display capture, head source, main. Okay, so this is, for example, one of the scripts, right? So this is me, code core, and they're pretty short. Like what I write should be 20 minutes long. At most, right? So you kind of have your opening narration. I like the old time radio dramas. So I'd find somebody to record the narration, and often I try to find a different person to record each narration, so more people get involved. So in the original one, basically the portal has been weathered. It's been there for, again, tens of thousands of years or thousands of years. So it's got all sorts of rock and stuff encrusted to it. It doesn't look like the nice picture where it's the rings, right? This looks more like it's just a solid rock and stuff like that. However, two figures, we've been told that there's more to these monuments than what appears to be, right? So it's covered in bird poop and moss and stuff like that. There's no guards around, but at one time there was. Nobody really cares about these things because history's been forgotten, right? One time these were guards. No, I spelled that one wrong. At one time there were guards because, well, we came to Sanctus from Vera, and we were expecting that the portals would reopen and we'd just go back through in a few years' time when the corruption was taken care of, because we don't necessarily maybe understand the corruption, right? So anyway, so we're at this thing and we actually chip off a chunk of the portal, and it's this bluish kind of crystalline rock, and we notice at some point that this rock has a very slight internal glow. And so my MacGuffin for how the radio is going to work is the portal is slowly powering up. So as it slowly powers up, the glow is going to get brighter, brighter, brighter. Eventually there's going to be earthquakes because the rings are trying to move. And they're massive, right? They're massive. So the local town, the nearby town, they're going to feel the ground move and shake a little bit, and that's going to coincide with people starting to get a little bit of magic. And that's what Stephen has said, that on Sanctus there's an overflow of the magic, that people near these portals will start to develop a little bit of magic. Now I'm thinking this is going to take months. For this to happen. We have a couple of years before the game officially launches, right? So my thought is as these crystals power up, they will glow and glow more. Now the thought is people have been collecting little chunks of these portals for years, right? Because they weather, whatever. So they have these little shards of the portal that they put in jewelry, or they've just put in a box somewhere, and basically they're going to vibrate with power. And what's going to happen is the radio magic is I don't know yet whether Sanctus is old Earth or in the same universe as us. Until I am told otherwise, I'm assuming that Sanctus is old Earth, and that perhaps at some point we left Earth we found Vera. And from there, we developed into the gods, and then basically recreated our own in our own image, forgetting what we actually looked like. We created dwarves and elves and humans and orcs, based on our self-image, and then when we return back to Sanctus, it's basically Earth, but it's Earth millions of years in the future. But when we left Earth, maybe they were still recording, whatever. We do know that signals that we have created from the 30s are still bouncing around in space, right? There's still, video and audio recordings bouncing around out there in space from when radio was first invented. So the thought is that when the portals reopened, there's a stream going from one portal to the other, from Vera to Sanctus, or Sanctus to Vera. And that acts like a giant antenna, a giant radio antenna. And because it's crossing light years, all of that stuff is, bouncing around in space, comes across this antenna, and that's where the radio gets its content, right? It's just picking up random stuff in space. So in my thought, it's old Earth content, and that's why there's going to be music that we can hear today. But I'm hoping a lot of the content is going to be user created, but also DMCA free content. So that's kind of one of the thoughts that I have. And I mean, it's totally open for interpretation, right? I mean, it's right now, it's just based on just trying to figure out how do you make something that's technologically based, such as a radio, work in a fantasy realm, right? Does it matter for most people? Probably not. So I'm going to wrap things up here for this. I'm going to play you guys one of the commercials that I have written for the radio. I have 3 I've produced so far. It's still in development, but the whole idea is to ask for permission from people who are creating podcasts to rebroadcast those podcasts on the radio, 3 or 4 days after they've been put up on YouTube, because really after 3 or 4 days on YouTube, you're not likely to get a whole lot more action, right? You kind of, the first 72 hours is when you're going to see 90% of your views. So the thought is do a rebroadcast on the radio. It's audio only. And then break it up so it has commercial breaks. And of course, each of those commercial breaks would have that disclaimer of this is a previously recorded podcast. If you would like to follow the podcast live, go to youtube.com/wood, right, for Wood Guild, or whatever you guys call your podcast, for an example. And then you can have regular commercials that say, hey, join us every Wednesday at 6 o'clock Eastern for the Woody podcast, where, we're going to birch about all of the bugs in Ashes of Creation, or whatever, play on words. And then, if you want to promote your guild, you can do a guild recruitment ad as well. And the whole idea is it's going to be run off donations. And because I already own pretty much everything, the only thing I might have to pay for is a relay server if the listenership gets above what I can handle on my own service, right? Which, I think I should be able to handle 20 or 30 simultaneous connections. And I mean, that's pretty good for online radio. If you can get 20 to 30 concurrent listeners, you're actually doing really well. If I need to get up to 100, then, I mean, you're doing exceptionally well. You're probably in the top 10% of online radio. So, and then I want to do live talk shows, but I want as much as possible the hosts to be in character. And we also want to do news, talking about major events that happen on different servers, depending on how many servers there are. We might have to kind of limit it to what happens. And then on the server that the host is on, the host could also do contests. Because, hey, who doesn't listen to the radio hoping to win something, right? So the idea is, because the radio will hopefully be funded through donations, or, guilds that are like, hey, yeah, play our ad. Hey, we'll throw you $5 a month or something. What the idea then is, different hosts would get a budget, right? Where, they'd be able to give away a gift card or something like that. If maybe things will be giftable in the cosmetic shop, probably not, because people are saying that's RMT. But hopefully there'll be something. Like, I have permission right now to use their logo to produce merchandise. I cannot sell it, but I can buy it and give it away. So what might end up happening is because I got my little Phoenix Radio logo on there. So what might end up happening is I just create merch, and then we gift the merch, right? So we take the money that we get in through donations, and we give stuff away. Like this, I have a coffee mug, we have stickers. I've created wall hangings, the whole whatever, right? But I do have permission from Margaret to produce and only give away. So I have one white mask I can give away, and then everything else is online. So anyways, here is the commercial. This is for DDS delivery. So it's basically like UPS. And yeah, and then we'll do we'll end this recording, and then we'll come back and we'll go over the Jeff letter, and we'll give a reaction and a read to that.
DDS. Delivering goods and packages since you're great. Great. Grandpappy was in nappies. Visit your local Postmaster General to have your notices and missives delivered quick with daily service to most areas. Come rain, heat, wind, ruffian, or creatures of the wild, we guarantee delivery. Our history of service rivals only that of the great Portal Legends. Safe, reliable, and fast. We ensure your deliverables are delivered. Use DDS for your mail, packages, and goods.
So that is the DDS delivery. I also have a Securavan, which is like a mercenary / insurance company for caravan service, and then Dunir Caravans, which I played at the very beginning, which is basically your manufacturer and or upgrade of your caravan. So these are some of the fake commercial ideas for the radio, so that it just, I don't know, I think it makes it feel a little more immersive. And of course, if your guild specializes on a particular server in certain services, I'm sure there will be mercenary services and stuff like that, then of course you could have a commercial as well, right? And then people contact you in game via your server, and they take your service, and they can hire your service for caravan security or whatever else you want to do. So that's just another recap of Phoenix Radio. If you are watching this on YouTube, please like, subscribe, please comment. I'd love comments. I'd love to have a conversation. I'm going to pause the recording, take a bio break, and then I'll come back and we'll do the Jeffrey letter here as well. So for those of you on YouTube, enjoy the videos, and we'll have more soon. And for those of you who are watching live, stick around. We'll be right back.